Check, check, check. Oh, good, 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 good. We are here. Forgot to check the mic. Morning one, morning all. It is the Sunday session. We are a little late. That's a little late. That's all right. We're here every Sunday, 7:30 a.m. to help you get to prepare for your week and absolve you of all sins. Not all sins, not the big ones. You can't run around hurting people willy nilly. Have people burn in your basement. Um, but yeah. So I have been running on empty. And that's, I guess, the way life works, right? Uh, so we have sort of a cloggy nose. I want to go blow, but I don't want to leave the screen. We do have our coffee. We don't have a cough. That's just morning fugaziness. So let's get into it. Uh, with a runny nose. What am I looking for? Here's what I'm looking for. The sacred scrolls of nose blowing. Uh, and eye dabbing. Good Lord, I'm going to have to go on deal with this nose situation because I don't have any tutor here. All right, so I don't really have a show today, but we do a show every week, and it's Halloween. Today is the 13th Sunday we've done this. Falls on a, well, we do this on Sunday, so it's obviously going to fall on a Sunday. But Halloween Sunday, 13th episode. Ooh, let's close this. 13th episode. Nothing spooky going on. It's cold here in Virginia. It must be 50 degrees, which is awesome. Uh, excellent running weather. I think I'm going to do that today. Well, actually, no. I got to do this till about 10. And then I got to run out and do some chores, as well as attack this room, right? I have to finally attack this room. Oh, good Lord. First world problems, people. I'm over here crying about my first world problems. They affect no one but me, but they are all the things, right, that you worry about. And we all do it. So we're trying to keep a little bit of common sense in our head on it of not getting too far away. Like we're really trying to do this streaming thing. Fun. I was so exhausted. My homie was like, let's play a game. I was like, I can't even. I could I couldn't even be like coherent enough to kind of like figure out a game and get in a game and get my mouse and finger game ready, which I should because mouse these fingers are so strong because I'm a PC gamer. Uh and they help me with my horrible guitar playing. Instead of being a horrible 10, I'm like a horrible 9.5. So good to that. But I was just so exhausted. And then I was thinking, man, I love playing video games. I don't play enough. And I've mentioned on this show, I need to play more games if I'm going to try and talk politics and gaming. And I like to cook, do some more cooking videos, stuff like that. Um, I can't be exhausted from my daily day life before I get here. Um, because my daily day life is like, you know, I'm enmeshed with it, right? It's my daily day life. Uh, but the night stream life has to, if you're gonna grow it, you gotta treat it like a new puppy, right? You gotta throw a lot of attention at it for like a year and a half, so that the dog knows all the things that it's responsible for and all the things that you're responsible for. We all have our roles, and that's what this is, right? I have to sort of get good at this like a puppy. So you guys, when you come through, you go, "Oh, this is Wednesday, we're doing this, or this is Thursday, we're doing that." But until I get there, every day we talk politics and social stuff. Um, I'm just wondering, do I even want this on the back of this chair? Because my mom isn't here, and I can put it on the floor. Just don't tell my mom that I just do that on the floor. All right, let's get at it. uh, Sunday. All right, we talked about a lot of stuff this week. We talked about Baldwin, and we troubleshot what the dealio is and who was really responsible, and we nailed it. uh, quite frankly, it's looking like the 24-year-old young woman is responsible. And if she goes, this wasn't my fault, they shouldn't have hired me. That's ridiculous. Nobody's gonna throw your employer in jail for giving you a shot at 24, right? But at the end of the day, it was your assignment. Um, and yeah, it reminds me of all these women who complain about the baby daddies. And the first thing I always think was, you pick that dude. You pick that dude. So don't be so up your skirt about him being a loser, because you picked him. Same thing with the dudes, right? Going on about like women because they're angry or mad. I'm like, dude, man, this is the girl you picked. Now she's your enemy. What is that? But that's the culture of America, right? You either idolize me as your friend, and oh, we're best friends, and oh, I love you so much, or bam, you're my worst enemy. I hate you. Dare you? Who needs? It's just there's no sort of there's no in between anymore. Uh, so yeah, let's get at it. Ooh, this thermal is thermal. Got the windows open. Everybody else is in bed. Yeah, Halloween. Uh, I don't have any Halloween fare for you. Let's look up Halloween. Let's at least look up the history. Good Lord, did you just spell Halloween like that? Shame on me. I apologize for the spell. I'm glad you couldn't see that. I apologize for the spelling of that. It's not that I'm so tired and exhausted. It's just that somehow over the last few years, I've become a really shitty speller. I used to be a really good student, even though I hated school, right? Uh, I had teachers who were just assholes, and I didn't like them, and I knew they were full of shit. But I would read some of the stuff because it was interesting, and other stuff I wouldn't read because it bored me to death. And I would go and read something else, right? It wasn't like I was just sitting in the back reading the sports page and minding my business. I was sort of educating myself in an environment that didn't really want me educated. So now my education is sort of mainstream because I'm in the public high school and public, junior high school and all this stuff. But it's also very eclectic because while all that was going on, I was reading all this other stuff that I just found interesting and really had no context for. Uh, but yeah, it's proven to be a superpower, quite frankly. Well, it's becoming less of a superpower, right? Because I did it all my life, and used to love reading encyclopedias. We had, no one has books of encyclopedias anymore. I used to love reading encyclopedias. Now you can just pick up your phone and get these little bits of information all day, and it's sort of the same thing that I was doing like 30 years ago. But yeah, now people have all this weird eclectic information of stuff that they're interested in at their fingertips. And the curious people, I'm an actually curious person. The curious people really love like information. Spiteful people like it too, so they can see who's doing what and why I hate him. Right? That it also bleeds. That's all the negative stuff about social media. It also bleeds into your, you know, some of the. It can strengthen you and it can weaken you. Right? If you have rot in you and it will exacerbate the rot. Um, that you have good things in you that you like I like cooking and I like things, and do you learn more recipes, and it shines that thing, that good quality of you, it stands up bigger. So that's social media, right? It's like I can make an argument for porn both ways, right? Same thing while we talk about porn on a Sunday on Halloween, right? If you don't know what you're doing and you don't know who to ask, you can look up pornography and go, oh, okay, this is what that is, and this is what I should do, and I probably shouldn't do that. And look up what the doctors say and what the sex experts say, right? You can look it up in line and then see it practice. This is what an X is. This is what a Y is. This is what a threesome is. This is what a blowjob is. Blah, 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 right? You could also look at it the other way. Just us den in a pit in a sea of just driving, and these people are even. Look how this guy treats that girl, right? So it's you could use it either way. By the way, I think the whole idea of uh pornography, oddly enough, is settled in America. And I remember as a kid, it's been around forever, right? It wasn't. People would there was we told you that movie Hardcore with George C. Scott, right? About that great one line that the woman he's a religious conservative. He goes to, I want to say, L.A. to find his daughter under the seedy underbelly. Could not L.A., right? Because they were the first to have like a porn culture in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. he goes to LA to find her because she goes on a school retreat to like LA from Missouri or something, and she doesn't come home. And then he hires a detective to find, and the detective says, "Yep, she's doing uh, hardcore porn in the underground LA scene." And the father's like, "What? Not my Christian daughter? That's outrageous." So he goes to get her, and then he meets up with this ex prostitute girl who's kind of like liked his daughter and sort of tries to help him find her. And they have this conversation. That's a long lead up to this one line in the movie. They have this conversation, and he's out there in the car, and he's talking, and he's like, she's asking about religion and all this stuff and why, and he's like, did he ask her, sex is so uh, like sex is so important. I don't understand how you can do it with just anybody, right? He asked her this, and she's the ex prostitute. Goes, I don't know, sex. I just don't think sex is that important, so I don't care who I do it with. And that's the thing, right? It's so important over here that it's so sacred. You just can't do it with anybody. The religious view. She's like, it's just a thing that you do, and I don't really care who I do it with. But the phrasing of it is the magic. I forgot the phrasing. The phrasing, the way they phrased it, it was almost like a yin yang kind of coin, where the phrasing was so tight and so close to each other. It was very philosophical. Anyway, how do we get on that? Anyway, October 2021 is trending. Oh, who knew? Why is Halloween celebrated? Well, I always thought Halloween was a trillion. Oh, here we go. Are we gonna have to stream this early morning? I'm gonna have to call up my carrier and curse them out. Good, sweet Jeebus. All right, so where's that thing at? Here it is. I'm beginning to sweat. Maybe this thermal is not the move. I may have to run and change my shirt. But when I do, I'm gonna have to put that sweater back on. But yeah, I'm gonna change my shirt. All right, give me about 15 seconds. Woo-wee. I'll feel better in the t-shirt than a thermal. All right. Is my zipper open? No, I'm good. God, sweet Jesus, y'all could have told me if my zipper was open. All right. So it is Halloween Sunday, baby. I guess Jesus and God are trick-or-treating. So you might see them if you know a little a Bible story about the Good Samaritan, right? Or Sodom and Gomorrah, right? That story is about three angels. God was going to destroy two places, obviously, New York and LA, or at this point, New York and Florida, I think. Not Florida, New York, Florida and LA, or it might be Texas and California, either one. Either way, the parable goes. I'm sorry, not parable. The true story goes. Three angels came down. They were like, "Yo, we got to find a righteous dude, or we're gonna wipe this whole town out." And they knocked on this dude's door, and he was like, "Oh, what are y'all doing out there? Don't you know how crappy a place is? Get in here before people see you and want to murder you, right?" And so he brings these three strangers in his house because he's a good Christian. And then the town people go, "Hey." Because it's Saturday night, I guess. That dude's got three strangers who came into town. We should go over there, rob and rape those guys. And that's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And then the angels go, dude, you look out for us, you're fine. Y'all get to leave, but everybody else in this motherfucker, we're gonna handle that. And so Sodom takes his wife and his kids and his iPhone and his go bag, and he hops in his Air Force Ones, and the whole family gets the fuck out of Dodge, except for the wife. The wife is turned to salt because she's told not to turn around and look at the debacle. And she turns around and looks at the debacle. And then she turns into a pillar of salt. Whatever else goes on to write Netflix specials, I don't know what happens after they leave Sodom and Gomorrah. But that's the thing, right? So now, who knows? God, Jesus, all his homies could be dressed in costume, walking around. You should be nice to people on Halloween. You should be nice to people every day, but people really do take your kindness for weakness and give you all sorts of problems for being kind to them. Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it's sort of like you shouldn't have to bark at people. This whole society is fucking ridiculous. It has always been ridiculous. All right, so what Halloween really means. The word Halloween comes from All Hallows Eve and means hallowed evening. Hundreds of years ago, people dressed up as saints and went door to door, which is the origin of Halloween costumes and trick or treating. Why is Halloween at day and why is it celebrated? What is Halloween Day? Why is it that day? Like what? Is Halloween based on a true story? What? Is Halloween based on a true story? So there was a guy named Halloween who got into a car accident or something? What does the Bible say about celebrating Halloween? Take no part in unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. And give no opportunity to the devil. Be sober minded, be watchful. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness to light and light to darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. What does this even mean? Um, Look, man, I'm telling you, the Bible has so many good quotey one-liners in it, but they don't really mean anything. I hate to say it. I look at the Bible very differently from a lot of other Christian people. I look at like the allegories for everything, and you can find strength in some of these phrases, right? Like people read poetry. Other people think that there was an actual flood. Well, I think there was an actual flood. Uh, and then people wrote stories around that event. But some people think, actual Garden of Eden, one guy, one woman, one rib, a snake, a talking snake, right? A tree made of apples where you just can't eat anything, which always struck me as crazy. Why would you put that tree there? What's that tree there for? To tempt you. Then if tempting me is fine, what? Yeah. Then you realize as a young person that everybody who's telling you this is older and they're blowing smoke up your skirt because people blew smoke up their skirt. So now, since it's an integral part of my people, religion and spirituality, I look at it slightly differently, which is I should be a good person and some of these things like like we just said the helping a stranger out, right, is just good for you. And don't hurt, don't steal, those are just good society rules. But all that other stuff about following blindly authority, which is in the Bible too, is sort of like I can see why they told you that 5,000 years ago. Why are you laying up with all the women with all the gold? Oh, no, 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 Jesus wants me to do this. I'm the minister. Don't ask me questions. Get out of here. And you're like, oh, well, I guess he's right. He is the minister. I guess he should be banging my wife. I guess God wants that. And then before you know it, bam, people go, they bought that. They bought that. Then the next thing, your religion slides one level lower. Like the Muslim, they believe that you can blow up other Muslims because God says so. Your religion just went doop, doop, doop. You keep going. At the top of the religion ladder, the bottom is a toilet where you fall into. And the top of it, as you go up, tip, 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 is like a heavenly rung, right? Where people like a speaker or whatever would be up there. What would be up there? Like a dais where people want to hear you speak, right? And that's the ladder. So a lot of people are in between these, and I think they're so far below the average minimum that nobody wants to talk to religious people, right? They come across as pious and a lot of the time, in my what I've been looking for, I've been religious for a very long time. Then I stopped being religious. Then I sort of came religious again. And my whole thing is, what are you doing for everybody? I know you want me to acknowledge you, but that's still me doing something for you. What are you as a preacher of this organization? You gather these people around. What are you guys doing for this community? Other than trying to get the community to come to church, like grow your following. It's like Instagram. That's all you're really doing. No one plots out that where here we are. And if they do, it's like we're gonna clean up the church backyard. That's yeah, okay. I'm talking about out in the world to let people know that you exist, right? What is your what is your plan here other than just to be religious and have people? Yeah, so sometimes, and I tell you, man, I do like religious people. My whole family's religious, but sometimes people come in at the wrong time with it, and you're just kind of like, man, you don't make any. This is not what we're talking about here. It's like protest. They always want you to protest, but then protest goes bad. Then they don't have a plan for when it goes bad. Just go home. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is what killed off religion, in if no, if it ever existed in this society. People are ridiculous. All right, so there is a lot. Let's put this up. There is a lot of horror stuff. I don't like horror stuff. I get why some people like to be scared. It's fun, that's cool. It's not for me, but I do like goofy Halloween movies. So Tail and Ducker versus Evil is on cable. I would highly recommend you watch that tonight. But it's Dale and Tucker versus Evil. And the premise of this movie, if you have not seen it, it's got Alan Tudyk in it from Firefly, Tyler Labine, who's everywhere. He's a good dude. Katrina Bowden, who was Siri in 30 Rock, uh, and all these other young people that I don't know. Eli Craig, Jesse Moss, Chellen Simmons as Chloe, Brandon J. McLaren. I think I've seen him in some stuff. But yeah, so the performance turned in by uh Tudyk, Labine, and Bowden is totally worth the movie. So let's just so you know what it is. Uh you know what? Let's play you da, da, da. Well, here we go. This is a commercial, obviously. Stop that. Uh okay, no, here you go. Let's get rid of me and let you watch the
Did you see the way those guys looked at us? Who wants to go skinny today? We got your friend! They captured Allison! Oh, there's some pancakes. You hate pancakes? I'm gonna make you something else. Fell into the water. Yo, big rescue dude. We'll go find a friend. You should relax. Tucker and Dale are on the case. What is this place? It's just a cabin. Doesn't mean it's psychic killers. Then why don't you go in there and talk to them? All right. Maybe I will. I said maybe.
Dale, what are you doing?
I'm digging a crapper hole.
You mind the help?
He's making her dig her own grave. There's no rules out here. It's us against them. I'm good looking for you. Saw your friend out there. He must be allergic to bees or something because he was running like a bat out of hell. This is a suicide pact. These kids are coming out here and they're killing themselves all over the woods. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. The girl that we have. She can maybe explain the whole thing. You got another one inside. Yeah, she's in my bedroom. Heads up. Oh, you gotta take the safety off on the side there. Don't do that. Be more careful. Don't use that. Let's get you down from there. Wait. Sorry about that. This vacation sucks.
So the concept of this movie is so good. Two country boys go out to this cabin that they own to clean it up and get it right because it's going to be their fishing hunting cabin. And these college kids come through and totally mistake what's going on here because they think that the girl is kidnapped when she's actually rescued. And the movie then just begins to be this ridiculously super fun ride. Good morning, Heavenly Dew. Good to see you. We're talking about right now. We're talking about movies you should watch on Halloween, and we're recommending Dale and Tucker versus Evil. So, like I said, I like comedy, tongue-in-cheek horror movies. I don't like Saw. I like murder porn. I don't like that kind of stuff. But this is so good, so innovative. And if you do want to watch a scary movie, Cabin in the Woods, sign in to confirm your age. Uh, Cabin in the Woods is a good one. Every now and then, there's a movie that is not in my genre that I like that I have to see. One of those movies was like Aliens. I had to see that. Oh no! But see, here's the thing about Cabin in the Woods. It's not scary. It's zany and funny. There's very few tension moments in it. You could watch it with your 12-year-old and you'll all laugh your head off. So yeah, so Tail and Ducker versus Evil is just a genius of a comedy horror movie. Um, yeah, everyone's reading this needs to watch it. It's the best horror comedy ever. This movie was hilarious, more comedy than horror. They really need to make some type of sequel to this. This was surprisingly really good. Dale, innocent, kindness, Tucker, reality, gratitude, college kids, entitled, judgmental, narcissistic, delusional, ungrateful, blame others. This movie is enjoyable. It did a perfect job combining some horror movies with real life occurrences. Real life occurrences. You can laugh and reflect. I guess so. The reel is pure genius. The two protagonists are the coolest dudes in horror film history. It took me 2 hours and 30 minutes to get through my initial viewing because I kept rewinding certain scenes. I had a blast watching it. It's A plus. Yeah, everyone I met who watched Tucker and Dale versus Evil always love it. Always love it. You can yeah. So get some popcorn, gather the family around, and watch it. It's such a man. I don't. It's it's such. How can I phrase this? Well, one is a horror comedy. Uh, and the scenario of why it's a horror comedy is really just genius. Um, it's a great send up. Everybody likes it. So yeah, Tail Ducker vs. Evil is fantastic. Oh, here's another trailer. Let's get this one without giving away too much of the movie.
For jobs, the economy.
Yeah, you're gonna save us if I vote for you. No, you're not. She hasn't done anything.
So what? What do we all? We go to the police. Oh, police. Yeah. Tell them what? I'll tell them what happened. That's a good idea, Dale. Oh, howdy ho, officer. We've had a doozy of a day. There we were minding our own business. Doing some chores around the house and kids started killing themselves all over my property. Well, that's what happened, Tucker. You would have to be a moron to believe that, Dale. It doesn't matter what happened. What matters is what looks like what happened. And what looks like what happened is pretty nasty. Hey, hello, officer. Good to see you again. Yeah.
Coffee is freaking king, especially at just a little after 8.
There we were. Yep. Minding our own business. Yep. Making some improvements to my new house. The new house. When all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these kids started killing themselves all over my property. Yeah, this one right here. He don't head first right into the wood chipper. In a woody right back there. There's another one up over there who shoved a spear through his gullet. Straight through. Now, I don't know how much experience you've had with this, but we were scared shitless.
Trying to explain this to the cops. It's so ridiculous. All right. Yeah, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. We super highly recommend it. It starts in one place. Not even starts in one place. It starts telling you that they're innocent, bumbling kind of hillbillies with good hearts. And it also lets you know that the college kids are arrogant and ridiculous and goofy and stupid. And then like it just unfolds. And it's such a good Halloween movie. For those of us who don't like horror. I do not like horror unless it's done so well that everybody sees it. So I'll give you an example of this. When I was a kid, I didn't like horror, but everybody saw Aliens, right? The first one, and they could not. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to muscle up and go see go see Aliens. And I saw it, and I totally enjoyed it. It was great. It was scary. Don't like scary, but it was more suspense than horror, right? So I don't mind suspense, but man, yeah. Uh, Coffee is good. Let's give that a like. Yeah, get your Halloween started. Let's see the kids in costumes and you know all that good fun stuff. This is one of those nice fun days that try and fall into just to let some of the work stress go away. Halloween is a good day, and it's on your weekend. Excuse me. So that's ought to be cool. Busy Biz, were you streaming at like 3 in the morning? My bro, what is up? Yeah, so it is the Sunday session where we absolve you of all your sins, and it lasts for 2 weeks. 6 a.m. Wow, you are balling completely out of control. Uh, as long as you're doing it vaccinated, I don't want to have to Kyrie Irving you, tell you can't stream unless you're vaccinated. I was looking at that Kyrie Irving thing. I wanted to actually talk to you about it, but I guess we won't be doing it today. But the idea that I don't see how he's wrong here, right? Just a side note for Ted in the chat. So the government says you don't have to get vaccinated, right? But your boss says you have to get vaccinated. Uh, shouldn't you listen to the government and take your own advice? I think they're trying to figure out how to handle Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie. So yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. He can't come to the stadium. Look, man. I mean, he's a millionaire. He can sit this out. He's already banked $100 million, so he can. But the average of us, and he's an important enough cat that if they go, well, we're going to fire you for not doing this, then his court case is going to get a lot more energy than all those people just openly fired. Quite frankly. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I absolutely agree with this. Especially since they're like, normally we don't talk about the vaccine, but they're like, mix and match, knock yourself out. I'm like, that doesn't sound all right, guys. But again, it took me a year. I have my own thing on this. I waited a year. Ted knows this. And then I got vaxxed because it was a year. And I wanted to see my mom, who I spoke to a couple of days ago. So I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her in like 2 years and counting. My brother, who lives within 15 minutes of a shop for her and my dad, and he opens the garage, leaves the stuff in the garage, and then my dad takes it. So he sees them from a distance. This whole thing is really just messing with my family. I was telling people yesterday, my mother told me 13 members of my family died from this thing. I knew of 3. But I was like, 13? Good Lord, man, that's a lot of people. Some were my older relatives, granted, but some were my age who didn't get vax. And, it's the whole pantheon of, it runs the pantheon of what they're telling you in the newspaper. Some who didn't want the vax, who got sick and died. Some who had cancer issues and were elderly, and then they got it and they died. And some got it in retirement homes and passed away. So yeah, you just kind of like, it's just, I mean, my family's just a microcosm of this. My family, I have a big family. So it's just a microcosm of what's going on here. You still have complications? Wow. Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, I am really sort of afraid of this whole thing. But I'm so afraid of it that I'm taking it very seriously. I mean, I feel like it's not bull, right? Those guys who run with the bulls, every now and then one of them gets killed. This is not that. You choose to do that, right? It's not, I wouldn't use that example, but this is like we're all in a boat, and whoever gets like a cold could really get sick. So why wouldn't you just prepare? Even if you're healthy and you get sick and recover, why wouldn't you care about like your family member next to you or your neighbor next to you, right? That's the way I view it. Even as when it first started, I had issues with it. I was like, how are you gonna make this thing so fast? And da, da, da. I'm not gonna be the first. I'm gonna wait for somebody else. But a year goes by and I'm like, well, I guess I waited a year and looked around and saw what was going on. I gotta make the decision when am I going to get this thing or not get this thing. And my driving thing was my family. I was like, I would really like to see my fucking mom and dad again. And 2 years later, I haven't seen them. So yeah, and so we'll see. Does that help taking a lot of immune system boosts? I guess it does, right? It can't hurt. Maybe that's what I should do. I didn't even think of that, oddly enough. take immunosuppressant. But I've always thought that they were like fake, those vitamin company, right? I don't know why I thought they were fake, but I did. But maybe I should give up some of my cynicism and zinc, acacia, Edinburgh, elderberry, vitamin C, and turmeric. What does turmeric do? I cook with that. Nature is all, yeah, yeah. I would agree, but nature is brutal. And sometimes you can cheat nature, right? That's what a lot of this is for. Look, we have this, this seems mean to say, but we have so many people on the planet because we've denied nature uh, its right to pick these berries, right? So there's a lot of people who would not be alive 100 years ago, who wouldn't. Um, and I'm not even talking about the pandemic, right? A lot of people can live sedentary lives, right? Um, and that's sort of bad for you. I mean, you at least had to like work and go out and hunt yourselves and get your food and like find a pheasant or whatever, build your cabin, right? People were, I don't want to say hardy, but people did. Like I said, there's a lot more people who are alive who wouldn't have been 7 billion people. Uh, who wouldn't be alive 100 years? Like you might have issues with diabetes, right? That's one. High blood pressure you can fix with pills and stuff. So all these things where I think people would naturally fall out of the gene pool. We still get some of them, like random heart attacks on treadmills, right? We still get that. We still get random horrible accidents, people get hit by cars and trains, people falling over things or off things. That's always been with humanity. But now you can have a child who normally would not have survived in like 1890, spina bifida, and all this kind of stuff. Uh, those kids will survive. You put them in those chairs and you take them to Disneyland, right? And I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm saying, oh, you got a lot more people here. Uh, so that's that. And then, what it reminds me of? Looking at this primarily, it reminds me of the forest fire issue in California, right? So some of that, like I hate to say it, Donald Trump may have been right. You should have let some of that burn instead of putting it all out. And now when it kicks off, it's going to burn for like 3 years. Uh, but even, you know, it is what it is, man. You have so many people that the animals don't have any place to live. My eldest aunt is 130 and still independent. She gives you great old school. Yeah, yeah. My mom does that too. What you got a cold, or what you need to do is put put drink some castor oil, put some Vicks under your nose, and take a poo. My mom's advice of getting better is always taking a poo. It's like, Ma, everything is not poo related. What you need to do is clean yourself out. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So yeah, mom's advice is always good. Some of it is kooky, and you just kind of go, no, ma, no. I remember some advice my great grandmother told me, God bless her soul. But you totally believe because you're like 6, and then it turns out she's just messing with you. Yeah, castor oil will clear you out. It will definitely clear your head. There's a lot of old school remedies of like detoxifying yourself, but big pharma was like, those are whack job ridiculous. Just what you need is this bottle of pills for $500 a bottle at infinite. Like, it's not even like, oh, take these pills for like 6 months and you'll be fine. No, it's take these pills forever. What's your insurance character? And now you got a million people taking pills forever, paying an insurance company $1 billion a year. So now they're like, yeah, no, don't go walk, don't take you know uh, don't stop eating as much sugar. Eat a couple more apples and oranges and fruits. Don't do any of that. Take these pills. I once had an argument with my ex-girlfriend who was on Ritalin. I think Ritalin. She was on some of these prescriptions because I smoked weed. And she was like, that's ridiculous. She called me a drug addict. I was like, you're on prescription pills. You pop like 9 of these things a day. I was just like, maybe a little weed will calm your ass down. Right? But yeah, it is what it is. I heard that too. Eat garlic cloves. And some of these you can do in a modern style, right? You can mix some of these in a smoothie, like throw a bit of garlic in whatever you're drinking, mash it on and have one. You know what? That's not a bad idea. You gave me a lot of good stuff in here. Let's see what we got. We got castor oil. We got What food? Well, you're talking about foods enriched with vitamins. So you're talking about fruits and veggies, right? Natural is always, yeah, acacia, elderberry, vitamin C. And another thing, I mean, even this stuff is expensive. You go into not a GMO, what's the place that sell vitamins and whey powders and all this stuff? It's not cheap. Yeah, my great grandmother lived to be like 105. And that's the way it works in my family, right? The black family. Thank you, Ted. GNC. Some people, like my grandmother chewed tobacco and spit it in a giant Maxwell House can. I remember it for the rest of my life. And then one day it got too expensive. This had to be like 1970. I want to say 74 or 75. It got too expensive and she quit cold turkey. But I remember her watching us while my parents were out, and she'd be taking by like a cowboy movie. Y'all do this, and baby, go get me that right in the can. That blue Maxwell House can is burnt in my memory. It's burnt in my memory. And then one day she just gave it up, just willpower AF. But yeah, she used to curse at us. Y'all little bastards, get yeah. She was so great. Um, oh yeah, you go. Dip snuff. Wow, that's so good. Back when people were just kind of like, man, yeah, yeah, yeah. Probably less chemicals back then, because now the cigarette lasts long on the shelves. I mean, it is just a leaf, right? And leaves dry out and blow away. But now they sort of, I don't say moist because I used to smoke. That was 20 years ago. But they're sort of dry, but they're not dried out, which is weird. They're talking about giving me a kiss. Oh no, ma. Yeah. So yeah, the wisdom of grandmoms, man. I'm telling you, my grandfather wanted no part of us. Um, October 31st. So what are we doing on Halloween? Anybody's dressing up? Anybody going any place here? There's hay rides and stuff. Used to be. I don't even know if they're going to do that. Even though that's outside, it seems to be one of those things that, well, I guess I will do that. But since that's one of the things you can do outside, everybody, you're going to need like 100 wagons. It's not that exciting. Hay rides. Uh, all right. So let's, that was Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Do I have any other funny, silly Halloween? I mean, I guess it's that stuff on Netflix. You can't stream Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's a series, but like some one and done fun. Oh, you know what? Adam Sandler has a movie on Netflix, which isn't horrible. Adam Sandler's Hallow. I always spell Hollow with an A. Halloween. It's Hallowed. All right, I got you. Hubie's Halloween. It's kind of lame, but it's definitely not scary at all. And it's goofy fun for like an hour. You can put it on in the background and go about your Halloween party, your merrymaking if you're going to stay home. Is anybody handing out candy? I'm dressing up as a chocolate bar. I hope people don't get the wrong idea. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the stories of your family. I love it. And thanks for the good information about vitamins and stuff, because I'm definitely going to look into those. I got to find out what turmeric does, because I've got a whole bunch of that in my kitchen. I don't use a lot of it, but man. But yeah, I should be using a lot more garlic. I'm handing out vitamins. It's like in the old days, people used to hand out like old people when you were like, I guess 5 or 6, you go there, they'd hand out like handfuls of popcorn and put it in your bag, loose candy from like the wrappers off, put in your bag, all that good old school stuff. I'm posting some info and tag you. Yes, please, that'd be awesome. Thank you. I super love that idea. Leftover rice. Give kids left. Look, we're not trying to go to hell, man. Giving children leftover rice. That's horrible. Giving them canned goods from the cabinet. That's horrible. Oh my God. So yeah, I wonder if anybody, because I feel, you know what, I gotta tell you, man, I'm feeling really, I feel like all these kids have not gotten their fair share of what their high school experience should be, some of what their college experience should be, right? Little kids can't learn eye and facial expressions. Everybody's wearing a mask, right? And then they can't go. This is really, and I blame the Chinese. I don't care what anybody say. Uh, I really do. I blame it. That's my opinion. Nobody needs to ban this channel, YouTube. But I think there's something going on in China. All the diseases after the last 25 years has come out of there, right? SARS this and SARS that, and monkeypox and all this other crazy. What is going on in China? I think they have a hygiene issue, uh, and too many people. And we talk about China a lot because China is our adversary, even though we buy all this stuff from them, doesn't make any sense. But India has the same thing. India is running out of trees because they burn bodies, right? So you need trees to do that. Or they dump them in the river. So now if you swim under the river, there's all these bodies always under there. It really is just sort of ridiculous. Yeah, they're talking about they tried to, it's like one of those horror movies from the 70s where they take a benign like thing like not chicken pox. The pox are very bad, like chicken pox, smallpox. The pox are bad, but they take something benign that everybody could sort of had immunity to for 100,000 years. Like actually, there's a million common colds. What do people normally don't have an issue with? Uh, I can't even think of one, but it'll take that little thing and make it super deadly. It'll ratchet it up like a superhero virus, and then they want to know what it does. You know what it does? It fucking kills you. Why are you playing with it? And the idea of 100% does not exist in the world, right? Um, there's always something. If you had 100 people and you say, I'm buying everybody dinner, it doesn't matter what you want. Somebody in that 100 people won't be hungry. So maybe you'll buy 95 people dinner, right? There's never 100. They rank, yeah. So, no, well, yeah, but the Ganges, there's a ton of bodies in the Ganges. Let's look up the Ganges. Ganges, yes, that's gangs. How do you spell Ganges? Yes, let's try that. Ganges. Yeah, river bodies. India's holiest river is swollen with bodies. Yeah, look at this. It's sort of, let's put this up. It's sort of just, here's the thing. They've been doing this for 1,000 years, but the problem was when your population was 5 million, now your population is 1 billion people. You're running out of trees and you're dumping people in the river saying that it's a sacred thing. Now, who's to say that this is wrong, right? Because other groups, right, the Jews, the Catholics, have and a lot of people in Africa, right, and have antiquated things. Some people still do animal sacrifice, and they're connected to religion. It's not like, hey, I'm in my backyard killing animals for the fucking fun of it, right? They'll come and get you. But once you go, this is a religious sacrifice. This goat is going to the great god Larry, and Larry told us to do this once. Excuse me, to do this once every 6 months, and then pray, and then go gambling. And you got 1,000 people go, this is our religion. You know, we have rules here that, at least here, that people go, well, okay, we got to tread lightly because it's religion. But over here, I'm feeling like the same thing is applicable. Just burning bodies on a giant woodpile. Hundreds of corpses have been found floating in the. This is a good Halloween story. I hate to say it. Oh Lord. Um, COVID-19, India's holiest river is swollen with bodies by Geeta Pandey, BBC News Delhi, 19th of May. India's holiest river, the Ganges, have been swollen with bodies in recent days. Hundreds of corpses have been found floating in the river or buried in the sand of its banks. Those who live close to where they have washed up in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh fear they are COVID-19 victims. All right. So that's what you fear. You don't fear that, oh, there's bodies all over my neighborhood. You fear that they're COVID-19. Um, India has been overwhelmed by a devastating second wave of the pandemic in recent weeks. It has recorded more than 25 million cases and 275,000 deaths. But experts say the real death toll is several times higher. Yeah, there's 1 billion people. um, Yeah, that's outrageous. The bodies on the riverbanks taken together with funeral pyres burning round the clock and cremations grounds running out of space tells the story of a death toll unseen and unacknowledged in official data. The BBC spoke to local reporters, officials, and eyewitnesses in some of the worst affected districts of Uttar Pradesh and found that Uttar sound very German, Uttar Pradesh, and found that behind the story of the floating bodies lies traditional beliefs. See, traditional beliefs, poverty, and pandemics killing people at lightning speed, riverbeds dotted with graves. The horror of the Uttar Pradesh first came to light in the 10th of May, 71 corpses washed up on the riverbank in Bihar Chausa village near the state border. 71 village. Dude, that they have bodies lying around like California has homeless people. Oh my God. When I die, I want my re-range scattered over Disneyland, but I don't want to be cremated. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Another cause of death other than, is there any other cause of death other than COVID? That's a good question. But they do this with all bodies. So maybe you're a murder victim, you died of cancer, whatever. My whole point is that their burial plan is ass. Excuse my language, is not good. Back. Oh, hey, good to see you back. What is that like? Coffee. Yeah, I'm about to get me a second cup of coffee. So yeah, I mean, what do you? Yeah, let's put it to you guys. You guys in the chat on my council. How do you fix this problem? You tell people who've been doing this for 1,000 years. Okay, we are no longer burying. And mind you, once you get it up and running, after 100 years, it's standard policy. We haven't done that for 100 years. But for the first year, 2, 3, 5 years of getting people on board with not burying, and mind you, their bodies of all types, right? Some children die young. So you're walking down the beach, right? And you see like a hand sticking out of the ground or half a foot or a burnt leg. Here you'd be like, I better call the cops and tell them that there's a. But there they're just like, oh yeah, all right, we'll bring somebody around to, because there's 71 bodies. How do you get them to stop doing that? And where would you put them? Right? I mean, you take them to a crematory. That's cost too much. I burn them myself, which is what they're doing. How what how I don't man, India has too many people in it. That's they need to do something about their population issue. So, yeah. Riverbeds dotted with graves, 71 corpses. Yeah, I don't think we need to look at this. Look at this. Open image in a new window. Let's look at this image. Look at this. That's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 are covered, but there's all these other mounds bodies, and you can see some way in the back here. Man, that is just not I mean, what is the mind state of your kids? Walking around seeing dead and burnt bodies washing up on the beach. Stay away from the beach. More bodies wash up on the banks of the Ganges. Wherever you look, you see ambulances and bodies. Anger rises as COVID rages in Modi's constituency. So they're angry about the COVID, but everybody's like, hey, the bodies are part of the the beauty of the neighborhood. Maybe we're just squishy Americans. Maybe we should be a little more hardy about this. Bodies are, but bodies are nourishment for the earth, not in the water. No, 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 no. Here's the thing: if you had 10 or 15, you could do this, right? But you're killing so many trees to burn them, right? And you're not burning them all. You're still just throwing them in a fire. You're not really burning them at a high enough temperature to make it all ash, like my dogs earn, right? And when you then dump them in the river, the river needs time to, and some of these bodies are just hitting the silt and staying there. But the river, it'd be different if you took them to the ocean, right, where other things could eat them, and there's enough great white water to wash them deeper out into the uh, ethereal energy of the ocean. They're in a river, and you just keep stacking them in a river and stacking them and stacking them. Before you know it, they don't decompose fast enough, and then there's always a new one. The problem is I would just, yeah, if you're gonna do this, let's dump them in the water. Let them wash up. Where is the? Here it is. Look at all this ocean. They're up there. What they need. Let's put this up. Right. So let's make this bigger. What they need, they're here, and there's these little, like, I guess, river. They need to be here, and you can dump it here. But man, I'm gotta tell you, you can't dump it in the river. The river is only so wide and only moves so fast. And then that's not even guaranteeing that the river will take that body, right? It just may sink to the bottom and slowly decay that way. But water, yeah, the thing about a human body and water, I think a human body will decompose, especially in salt water, will decompose in water in like fucking weeks, really weeks. Do we even want to look that up on Halloween? In the ground, it takes a lot longer. But water, yeah, your fingers get pruny when you're in the bathtub. Uh, that's your whole body. How long does a body decompose in water? There's all these places here that they take you donate your body to science, and then they put you in these things to take how long the bugs eat you, how long if it's a dry environment and no water, do you come mummify how long? If we dump you in water, how long? Even a weighted body will normally float to the surface after 3 or 4 days, exposing it to seabirds and buffering from the wave. Putrefaction and scavenging creatures will decompose the body in a week or two, and the bones will sink to the seabed. So yeah, you got about a week or two, but they keep dumping bodies in there. Um, do bodies decompose? Yeah, the bodies. Water is a soluble, right? Everything dissolves in water. Every single thing. What is the universal solvent? It's an amazing thing. It mixes with everything, but it also destroys everything. Uh, burning would be budget friendly. How is how is burning budget friendly, but water isn't? Burning is hard. Yeah, digging that ditch. I can't swim. I want to be buried. Huh. You know, at this point, I'm the way I'm looking at the world. If you can make me a tree and stick me in the woods, I'm fine with that. But if not, don't burn any trees. Stick me, like, say, out in the ocean and let the birds eat me, or let the fish put me back into the ecosystem. Nobody needs to come to my grave. Nobody can be doing that anyway, right? And eventually we will grow and grow and grow as a society, and people will die, and you still need graves, right, in cemeteries. And eventually it's going to get to the point where our problem is going to be similar to theirs, in the fact that we're just going to run out of cemetery space, right? um so I think cemeteries, which is an old idea, uh here, how old is the idea of a cemetery? I want to say it's like the 1840s. It's not that old. Normally cemeteries began when? In the book, you notice that cemeteries, we know them today, first emerged in the 1830s with rural cemeteries. Well, rural cemetery movement. There was a cemetery movement. As you mentioned, Americans have always buried their dead, but did so in churchyards, right? Behind your church. And then they got full, and then what happened? Town commons or municipal burial ground. Town commons were like Boot Hill, where you just stuck people up there and they stuck a wooden cross. Here lies Joe the gunslinger, dead, Deadwood, 19 something, right? Before it became these giant monoliths of statues and ornate. Yeah, people could be living there. Just, I mean, let's see. Yeah, feed me to whatever. Like one of those whale falls. Cemetery Terry. um, yeah. Hey, here's another movie you can watch if for Halloween. There's a movie called Postmortem on Netflix, which is I want to say a six. Oh, look, my arm. I need lotion. I want to say it is a 6-part series. I'm gonna go get some lotion, or I can put my hoodie back on, since I'm embarrassed. Um, yeah, it's about this woman who comes back from the dead. It's funny, and it's good Lord, what's going on here? It's funny, and it's not scary. There are some jolting scenes, like that's funny, like jump scares, I guess you call them. but it's not like blood and guts and somebody eating somebody's face or any of that super over the top zombie violence stuff. But it's about this woman who wakes up dead uh, in on a funeral table at her autopsy, and her family runs the only mortuary in this small town, right? So they have to come and get a body, and they're sad. Then they take her, and then she wakes up. Then they come and pick her up, and there's this kind of weird energy. It's quirky, it's funny, it's English subtitles, it's good stuff. Yeah, that embalming also plays into postmortem. But yeah, the embalming thing makes the body not decompose. Why would you do that if you want the body to go away, right? Who's gonna come and see? Like you put we put you in a coffin, we embalm you, we put you in a coffin, and then we put you in the ground. Okay, so you stay there forever in perfect. That doesn't make any sense to me. We do a lot of weird stuff in this country. All these birds out there losing their minds. But on this holiday, okay, I had to whistle and they left. First they was like, "What the hell is that?" And now they're gone. They're not gone. They're up in the trees. All right. Man, Boyd's. So let's remember on this holiday. No, you know what? Where would you be taxidermy? I want to be taxidermy. We in the old days, like in the 30s, there was a woman who had her husband in the living room. Right? He died. I want to say in the 1840s, not 40s, the 1890s or 2000s, and she had him in her living room until, as a like I guess a conversation piece until she died in like the 40s. Woman kept husband's uh taxidermy corpse in the living room. Then you go 1940. So they don't get it wrong. It looks the 1930s living room, home decor, Pinterest, frankly class, Christopher Worth, dead wife in the coffee table. Here's another one. Tour the class 1930s home of Kardashian, worst living room design. Da, 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 da. What is this? Dead wife in the coffee table, 2014. This is a recent one. Wow, this is a super recent one. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. There she is. First of all, she's got to be mad in hell or heaven, wherever she is, because look at how he dressed her. I don't know any woman who'd be like a purple top, blue jeans, weird slip-ons on a yellow. No, she would. Why don't you just put her in like a Daisy Dukes and a Disney T-shirt with a pair of Crocs on? She's in hell or heaven or whatever, losing her mind at him, and he's under the kid. She's got a plate over her face. Oh man, I wherever she is, she's spinning. Dead wife with corporate table was the best year of their marriage. Ugh. Yes, people are just. How's that even legit? So back to this Gandhi. Do we even finish the need? Do we even need to finish the Gandhi story? A massive discrepancy in deaths. Look at this. Funeral pyres. Even the water is blackened by the riverside. Yeah, India has to come up with a better. Burials are from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. They do this. Oh my God, for like 18 hours. 7 and 7 is 12. All right, 16 hours. What? You burn people, you got to get up good and early. It's like a baseball game. It's like the World Series. You got to get up good and early to get a spot. Come on, kids. We're going to bury grandma. We don't want to be late. You know how traffic is. Oh my God, this whole thing is dismal. And this is why I don't want to sound dark, but I'm like, some people are not compatible with living in your country, right? Not just America. other people's countries too, right? The West is very different from India. Is not the West. How long do dead bodies remain intact? We looked this up. Ooh, Halloween. Yeah, so that Adam Sandler movie, Halloween or Halloween, Hallow, what? HALLOWE-EN, also known as All Hallows Ween, All Hallows Eve, I've heard, All Saints Eve, I've heard. Halloween, I've never heard of Halloween or All Hallows. All right, there you go. Ooh, Aaron Rodgers reason for hair growth with John. You're telling me about Aaron Rodgers' hair growth now? Oh Lord, I love sports, but some of it is ridiculous. A hallow is olden time talk for like hallowed ground. Hallow meaning because the day is supposed to be the day where the bad and the angel, the demons come frolicking out before the day of, I'm about to say the Feast of Ascension. That's not right. That's not right. Tomorrow is All Saints Day. So this is supposed to be that. Hallows. Hallow. Honor as holy. The Ganges is hallowed as a sacred cleansing river, which is, we just read that, which is why they throw bodies in it. Archaic hallows, a saint or holy person. So All Saints evening. November 1st. Wait, it's what's All Saints Day? When is that? November 1st. Yeah. Also, All Hallows Eve. Buffers All Saints, also known as All Hallows Day. The Feast of All Saints, the Feast of All Hallows, Solemnity of All the Saints, and Hallow Mass. Hallow Mass. I guess Mass makes sense. Christians stick Mass on the end of everything. Is a Christian solemnity celebration in honor of all the saints of the church. So the devil gets to play before God comes out in the morning. Is that it? Okay. I now have to look up Halloween start again because I've got a mental block about it. Okay, let's look up Halloween. Where are you, Wikipedia? Okay, I just want to know why it's so close to All Hallows Eve. I used to know this. Halloween, Halloween, we know what it is. Also known as All Hallows, Etymology. The word Halloween or Halloween dates back to 1745 and is a Christian origin. The word Halloween means saints and Halloween means saints evening. It comes from the Scottish term for All Hallows Eve. Okay, but why is it a saints evening the day before Saints Day? Is this like Christmas Eve? But you don't really do anything on Christmas Eve other than take the day off. The word Eve is evening to eat or eat. Over time, evolved, although the phrase All Hallows is found in English, All Hallows is 1556. All right. Christian origin and historic customs. Halloween is thought to have roots in Christian beliefs, okay? How long am I going to? Saints time, the church major feast, we get it. Easter, Pentecost, we get it. Has vigil to the. But why October 31st? This is what I'm looking for. It was held May 13th. That's nowhere near what beginning the 4th century. Why? All right, where's this? History Gaelic symbols trick or treating spread to North America. Gaelic influence. We're not going to find it. I want to know why is it before All Saints Day? Why would you put this up before All Saints Day? And I get that people would make a mess and then you have to give them candy. Are they doing the Thriller dance in the New York Halloween parade in Greenwich Village, Manhattan, the world's largest Halloween parade? Really? It's the world's largest Halloween parade? It's only been around for 30 years. Woo! Halloween is Jesus' real birthday. Jesus' real birthday is in April, isn't it? Okay, now you got me looking up Jesus' real birthday. I think it was in April. Jesus' quote unquote real birthday. That's not his real birthday. By the 4th century, how we find reason to date that were rightly reckoned, and now we celebrate Jesus' birthday, December 12th in West Rome, and January 6th in the East. Is Christmas really Jesus' birthday? The short answer is no. But was Jesus really born on December 25th? The short answer is no. It is not believed that Jesus was born on the day Christmas is globally celebrated. Christmas was chosen as a convenient celebrated day on the same day of the pagan holiday that celebrates the winter solstice. Yeah, that's what I got. So this is sort of ingenious, but what the old church did. So when they took you over, if you had a giant celebration on this day, they just go, this day is no longer twerking orgy day. This is now Christmas. You can still celebrate, but it'll be Christmas. Is what it's named after. And people are like, well, I'm just going to celebrate my like I always did. And eventually, over time, you're still celebrating, and versus making you stop it and move that celebration to a completely new day. Uh, yeah, I thought it was in April. When was Jesus born? The real history behind Christ's birth. Follow the star. Follow a star. Oh my God. Neither does the average Christmas. The actual birth of Jesus was not December. The date we celebrate adopted Christmas. Why don't you tell me when the date is then? Christian Horizon, 9 months prior to December. Jesus. The date had more to do with Jesus' crucifixion in the minds of ancient theologians. For them, linking Jesus' conception with his death 9 months prior, December was important for underscoring salvation. So they're saying he was born in April, and then he died in April, and that doesn't go with the narrative. So, you know, he died for your sins, so give us cash, baby, baby. Halloween, good Lord, that Halloween movie, how many of these movies have there been? Seriously. Halloween film. Oh my God. 6, 12. There's been 13 of these movies. The first one was 1978, 81, 82, 88, 89, 95, 98, 2002, 2007, 2009, 2018, 2021, and 2022. Sweet Jesus. How much money did this franchise make? Is this a video game? This is a franchise. John Carpenter, 1978. 78 to present, list of novels and comics, list of films. I guess people do like horror shit. 11 films have followed since 1978. Is the antagonist in all the films. Okay, let's go back. Um, it should tell me film franchise, Halloween film franchise gross. $640 million. That's not a well. I guess it is a lot for they're supposed to be low budget. You can make a horror movie like let's say a movie will cost you $5 million to make. You can make a horror movie on like 20% of that, and that's why people like to make them. They're super lucrative. They're all in one location, and it's usually just watered down Catcher for Blood, and you're off to the races. And then you stick it in on one of these streaming sites, and your $1,000 Halloween movie may get on Netflix or something shit and seem, So is that so, man? It's once you get one of these ideas, it really is just a license to print money. Oh, here it is. All right. Wow. 13 movies. They don't give you a gross though. 76 million for the first and 49, 26, 16, 16, 12, 7, 6, 7, 6, 5. They get they get less and less and less. Maxia's gross. Doesn't tell me how much they lifetime gross 159 million. Lifetime gross 11. Look, yeah. So wow. Halloween is a thing. People like to be scared. Not all of us. So yeah, remember it's the Sunday session. We're respectful to each other. We try and keep anger and animus out of it. I feel like I have to say this on Halloween because Halloween is the day people associate with being evil. And oddly enough, nobody's evil on Halloween. They always are trying to be fun, except for the kids. High school kids at night can be. Do we want to call it evil? Do we want to call it mischievous? Uh, I went out and threw eggs as a kid, but I'm sort of milk toast. I didn't really throw eggs at anybody, but we went out. We didn't egg people's houses, but we had eggs. We didn't toilet paper trees or any of this stuff that you see in movies. The haunted house is an American cultural icon. Can be attributed to the opening of the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland on 12 August 1969. Knott's Berry Farm began hosting its own Halloween night attraction, Not Scary Farm, which opened in 1973. Evangelical Christians adopted the form of these attractions by opening one of the first really evangelical Christians hell houses in 1972. What has happened to evangelical Christians? They seem to used to be have a tongue in cheek, and now it's like the first Halloween haunted house run by a nonprofit was in 1970. Yeah, I think this is amazing because look, we are the West, right? We American, quite frankly, are the West. We do something, and people adopt it. So there's Halloween in England and all these other Scandinavian countries because and I'll make it a point. The thing that's unique about America, you may hate it, is we really do have freedom of thought, and that means you can sit here and go, huh, if I do this, it's now a website, and then I can have people come in. Oh, here's another idea. Maybe I can use this to make sell stuff in commerce, and all this stuff comes out of here people think people think that look, what am I? I looked at okay. This is what I'm trying to say. The difference between us and the Chinese and the Russians is really freedom of thought. If those guys think the wrong thing, it's their ass in their country, right? That though whether it's about politics or China arrested that guy who's an artist, right? But here you can say dumb shit and think dumb shit and do wild shit, right? And in all that energy of all of it, of just a ball of like mental chaos, somebody comes up with the telephone, right? Somebody comes up with uh like the automobile and all these other kind of things that you can sit here and ponder at your kitchen table and write down and tell the world about before somebody goes, you can't say or think that. Because once you get into the mindset in your country, you can't say or think stuff. Once you get into the mindset of you can't say or think anything, it really just puts it tamps down your creativity because you're less likely to risk it and then be visited by the Communist State Party for your ideas on this comic book you wrote, which may inspire somebody 30 years from now in that comic book to make something, right? Like Star Trek inspired a lot of people who watched it to want to go to space. So can you imagine and be scientists? So can you imagine if the government said we don't like that there's a Russian and a Chinese there, right? What are you loving the Communist Party with this Sulu character? What you loving Russia with this Chekhov character? We want and we don't do black women on what? Get this is a segregate. Get her off and then the next season it says all white guys, right? So something changes and then something, and that's it. But here I'm sure people are like, oh, how there was the first kiss was a science fiction kiss, right? It was between Kirk and Uhura. Uh, and nobody got this. Well, they got the show pulled. Not that, but did they really get the show pulled? I don't think they got the show pulled. But it's that kind of thing. So you watch that as a kid, and you can, you know, want to be a scientist as a black kid or Asian kid or a new transplant from China, right? That's the nobody's going to tell you can't do that. That doesn't happen in China. That doesn't happen in Russia. Doesn't happen anywhere throughout the Middle East and all these authoritarian countries. And they get all their technology from the West, right? What I think is really interesting about Afghanistan is they're going to run a country. They don't know how to fly planes. They don't know the banking infrastructure. The only thing they know is guns and violence. And now they're mad at the West because the West won't accept them as a country. Excuse my language, but get the fuck out of here with that. You just blew up 13 military personnel on the exit. We were leaving anyway. I got real problems with now our allies are like trying to, man, I would just be dropping bombs on that place for the next 30 years. And I don't want to hear about the women who can't go to school because you're raising idiots, right? Maybe you should whisper in their ear when their father's not away that this is not the way to go. And when you get older, you might want to go into government and change it, or or not give it so much credence. And who knows? I mean, maybe you have to keep that to yourself because other people around you are idiots, or maybe you will find a like-minded person who goes, man, I love my mom and my sister. This is kind of wrong. And then down the line, you and your society will change it. But it's not up for Americans to come through with machine guns and tanks and that they left there. Uh, yeah, they left $1 billion of equipment there for people who can only point guns and drive. They don't know shit about helicopters. Now they want Russia's help. Russia had a war with you before, and you did this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What's in the chat? Jesus, the first million people who give me $1 gets a free copy of my book titled "How to Become a Millionaire" on Haps. That's pretty funny. I watched a movie called Tropic Thunder now, and I have a new favorite black character. Well, are you fucking with the chat, man, with this? Um, oh, and by the way, that whole thing has not aged well. And that wasn't like the 50s. Like when I saw it in the theaters, I was like, what the fuck is this fuckery? And then you had to have all these people who knew Robert Downey to tell you how it wasn't racist, like Jamie Foxx and all. I was just kind of like, if you have to go and appeal to other people to say I get a pass on this, it's like Dog the Bounty Hunter say he can use the word nigger because people in jail told me he could 20 years ago. He's like, who is that guy? Is he chairman of all the blacks? I mean, how does he have this authority? Maybe he lets you call him that. He's your friend, but you're not wandering into the world calling people that, because what's going to happen is violence. Belize children dress as biblical figures and Christmas saints. Look at this. Look at the little girl with the beard. Look at her little beard. At least she's got the right skin tone, for Christ. But the thing is, she's over here with his face already on a death. What? But he's right behind you. Does Jesus have a stick? Oh my God, this is gonna get bizarre. All right. Uh so yeah, I don't know why it's so connected, like right next to. That's what we were looking for. Related, really related. Tottenstag, Blue Christmas, Thursday of the Dead. What are these? Tottensonntag is called Edwig Kentensontag, or Totten. It's a Protestant religious holiday in Germany and Switzerland, commemorating the faithful departure. The faithful departed. I'm sorry. Okay, Blue Christmas is a Western Christmas tradition. In a day in the Advent season, marking the longest night of the year. This day, the longest night of the year is December. No, that's the shortest night of the year. It's December 21st. The longest night is in June. Tradition in the day Advent season, marking the longest night of the year. On this day, some churches in the Western Christian denomination hold a church service that honors people that have lost loved ones. The longest day of the year? That's not around Christmas. Thursday of the Dead. Thursday of the Dead, also known as Thursday of the Secrets. Really? Thursday of the Secrets sounds like a porn club. Or Thursday of the Eggs. That sounds like a baby birthing group, a fertility group. Is a feast day by Christians and Muslims. All right, we share a holiday with the Muslims. Christians and Muslims in the Levant. Oh, well, okay, in the Levant where they're killing Christians. It falls sometime between the Easter Sunday of the Catholic and Easter Orthodox Christian. I don't know what that is. What is this? Samhain, a Gaelic festival marking the end of the harvest season. Okay, that makes sense, right? And beginning of winter. Okay, that makes sense. That sounds like an old school thing. Hop to Na is a Celtic festival celebrating the Isle of Man in the very small October 3rd. It is celebrated the tradition of Celtic festival. Okay, that goes back to 1,000 years too, like Sam Hop. What is this? Counting. This is a lot of Gaelic shit. Winter in Wales. Allantide. Come on, mouse. Also known as St. Allen's Day. Feast of St. Allen is a Cornish festival. Okay. Day of the Dead is a holiday celebrated 31st October through December, such as Signaman, including Mexico. All right, Day of the Dead. Reformation Day is a Protestant Christian religious holiday celebrated October 31st, alongside All Hallows Eve, so you don't have to get rid of it. During the Triduum of All Hallows Tide, in remembrance of the onset of the Reformation. Doesn't sound like they're giving out candy. All Saints, also known as All Hallows Eve. All right. and Mischief Night. Mischief Night is an informal holiday in which this is very American, on which children, teenagers, and adults engage in jokes, pranks, vandalism, and/or parties. It is known by a variety of names, including Devil's Night, Gate Night, Goosey Night, Movie Night, Cabbage Night, and Mat Night. I know it is Devil's Night, but that's when look at this picture. This is when you TP somebody's house. So while little kids are trick or treating, the older kids are supposed to be doing nuisancey stuff. But since we are Americans, people actually get really freaking ridiculous with the violence. What do we got in the chat? Longest night in December, not June. Right. The longest night is in this. The longest night is in December. No, it's not. The longest night is the shortest night. The days get shorter closer to the end of the year. I'm more confused than before I came in here. Yeah, I will do that to you, brother. Yeah, the longest night is not. I have a head like what did she say? I have a head full of useless information, but it's still a head full of information. Shortest night of the year should be December 21st. What the frick is my spelling? What is going on here? S night of the year. I need more coffee. The shortest night of the year is June 21st. What? Why is that the short? I thought that was the longest. Wait a minute. How do I have this backwards? Why do I think this is the shortest night of the year? The days get longer. You get more daylight. So isn't the day longer in the do I have this backwards? The shortest night of the year is in June. You're right. I'm sorry. Ban-ish. I'm gonna call you Ban. I could call you Ish if you want me to. So I guess you're right. The longest night is December. Longest day of the year, December 21st. Wait a minute. Longest day of the year, Tuesday, June 21st. What just happened here? Hold on. Duplicate tab. Right. We go back to this one and we go backwards. The shortest night of the year. Let's click on this. Tuesday, June 21st. Shortest night of the year. Longest longest day. Okay. Shortest night. Why don't we just go shortest day? Oh. Tuesday, December 21st is the shortest day. I say shortest night. Why would that be different? December 21st is the shortest day. June 21st is the longest day. The shortest day is December because the year gets. Oh man, okay. What do I know about this? In the winter, we are closest to the sun, but on an odd angle where it's not hot. And in the summer, we're on a more direct angle, but further away from the sun, where summer comes in. Is that right? Are we closer to the sun in the winter? Many people believe that the temperature changes because the Earth is close to the sun in the summer and farther from in the winter. In fact, the Earth is farthest from the sun in July and close to the sun in January. Right. During the winter, the sun rays hit the Earth at a shallow angle. Right. All right, right. So I'm right about that. What? How did I get this fucked up? June 21st is the longest day. Shortest day is December 21st. All right. All right. I have to remember that. Mischief Night. Historical background. The early reference mentioned 1790. In some regions of England, these pranks were originally carried out as part of May Day celebration, but shifted later in years. Man, yeah, you get a day like this in America, there's violence. We're such a violent country. In New Jersey, as well as New Orleans, Philadelphia, Eastern Pennsylvania, why not Pennsylvania? Eastern Pennsylvania, because the Western and the Northern Pennsylvania don't dig it. Delaware, parts of New York, which parts of New York, and Connecticut is referred to as Mischief Night, or particularly in the Great Lakes region, Devil's Night. And sometimes in Northern New Jersey and parts of New York, it's also known as Goosey Night and Cabbage Night. Goosey, why would you name something Goosey Night or Cabbage Night? This is name variants. Contemporary films The Crow Episode of Rocket Power Sport Mischief Night 2006. Mischief Night is based on the events surrounding this night in Leeds. What? There's an event. Hold on. Horror movies from 2013 is named Mischief Night. A different horror movie is also named Mischief Night. Orange is New Black. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark? The TV show. There was a movie called Are You Afraid of the Dark? I want to say that's the name of the movie where these tiny little there was a little door. Hold on, maybe I can find it. Are you afraid of the dark? No, this is not these people. Movie. No. All right. So there was a movie where a woman had a door this big, like in her room, and she couldn't leave it alone. And she opened it, and it turns out it was like a gateway to like these little creatures. And at the end of the movie, they cart her off. They like she's drugged a lot. I don't know how she got, but these little things carry her away into like some underground hole in this, and it's freaked me out forever. And I cannot remember the name of that movie. You ruined Halloween. Yeah. What? This? Yeah. Celeste Day. Yeah, December is cold. Yeah, I get that. The longest night now. I do have it backwards. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you absolutely right. And you were super right about this. I'm confused. Yeah, I will do that to you. All right. Yeah, why do we even have April Fools? Um Movie where tiny creatures drag a woman away in her new house. That's a long way to search for. That's not. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. 2011 movie trailer. Silent House official trailer. Elizabeth Hereditary. Yeah, this is it. These are the creatures. So what movie was this? Strange creatures crawl out of the house of a fireplace and attack a woman. Right. What movie was this? Strange creatures and attack inhabitants. I love being able to search shit randomly. I don't even know why this is here. What's the name of the movie though? Asked 9 years ago. Activated 6 years ago. All right. Uh, Approximately 30 years ago, I watched a horror movie which I've been trying to identify for years. The problem is that after so many years, I don't remember a lot about the movie. The only thing I remember are blurred by time. Here are the details. The movie was about a group of people staying in a house. I think they were a group of friends. I thought it was a husband and couple who gathered in the house, but it's not confirmed. There are some strange creatures. I remember kind of small, big-headed humanoids to crawl out of the house. It was a fireplace and attack the inhabitants. Answer. I think you're talking about Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. I had the right title, but this just has a couple of movies and not exactly a group of friends. Okay, so apparently they used an. Hold on. Let's look up Don't Be Afraid of the Dark again. I have too many things open here. Title. Don't. I'm about the right title. Uh, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Let's go 1975 because it's old, right? 1973. Okay. No, I did remember the name of it. The freakiest movie. And horror movies are only like 90 minutes. Dramas are 74 minutes. Like, what is that? An hour and a half? An hour. 90 minutes is an hour and a half. So this is an hour and 24 minutes or about. Um, yeah. So, plot. Sally Farnham and her husband Alex inherit an old mansion from Sally's recently deceased grandmother. Shortly after moving in, she discovers a bricked up fireplace in the basement. That's what she is. She opened up the bricked up fireplace, and these things began to like show up. The state's handyman, Mr. Harris, tells her that Sally's grandmother had him seal it up after her grandfather died, and that it's better to leave it that way. After he leaves for the day, she uses some of Harrison's tools to try to remove the bricks herself. She fails, but is able to pry open a small side door used for removing fireplace ashes. And that's why I have a door in my head. Inside is not a fireplace at all, but a large, dark, deep sub-basement. As Sally leaves the den, several whispering voices call her name from behind the fireplace, proclaiming, "She set us free." Sally begins to feel unsettled in the house. Yeah. And from there, it gets what is the reception? It was released on DVD. It's one of those movies, man, like a cult favorite where you watch it. When I was a kid, there was something called the 4:30 movie, right? So I would come home, I would get home around 3:30. I would do my homework watching the 4:30 movie, right? So the 4:30 movie would go to about 5 o'clock. Not for 5 o'clock. The 4:30 movie went to 5 o'clock. The 4:30 movie would go to about 6 o'clock, and then the evening news will come on. Um, and then my dad would watch the evening news, right? But in the winter, Halloween, they had all these Halloween movies on, like Food of the Gods, where giant ants would like was on an island, they would eat people. All these great movies, like these B 1950s, 1960s, 1970s movies, would be shown nightly. Oh, you don't got to guess my age. Yeah, guess my age. I tell you about my hanging out with my grandmother in the 70s. I'm telling you about this. Yeah, so it's not really hard to peg how old I am. So yeah, don't be afraid of the dark. The release went out. If the release went out of print, the fine book, but the newly restored. It doesn't say how. Okay, critical reception. Don't be afraid of the dark has been mostly positive upon its initial release. Okay, so it was good when it came out. Maitland McDonald from TV Guide rates the film 3 out of possible 5 stars, calling the film an above average made for TV chiller. Right. Oh, it was made for TV. And there was another one when I was a kid with Karen Black, and a college boy who liked her, she was a college professor, gave her like a doll that he got from someplace, and the doll had a chain on it. And then the chain falls off, and the doll becomes alive, and that was made for TV. And that is one of those movies that everybody knows. Longest Day we can get rid of, Shortest Day we can get rid of, Mischief Night we can get rid of. We're gonna keep that. We're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna keep that, and we're gonna look up Karen Black's movie. Karen Black, rest her soul. And I also know who Karen Black is, who was super famous when I was a kid, but now nobody would know her because she's a yesterday's superstar. Karen Black. It's not. It's alive. Is it? It's alive. It is. It's alive. No, this is. It's alive. Three. It's alive. 1974. Okay, let's get. Oh boy, this is why I don't like horror movies, because I used to watch these by myself, and they were the only thing on. It's a lot like a horror produced and they're the Sharon Farrell. No, this is not it. Because it was no, what I think it was called Trilogy of Terror is what it was called. Now that I think about it, trilogy, because there was three of them. Trilogy of Terror. Yes, this is what it was called. There's that thing, Trilogy of Terror. Ugh. So the boy, the kid gave her, the college kid gave her this thing. Oh, you can't see a good shot of it. All right, fine. Um, Julie uh, is a college student with a crush on an English teacher. During one of classes, Chad is distracted by Julie's stars as he sits on her desk, and he daydreams about her. Chad reveals his fantasy to his friend, but Eddie discourages him to become romantically involved with the teacher. Later that evening, when Julie is addressing her room, Chad watches her through the window. The next day, he asks Julie out on a date. She initially refused, but later accepts. Dating your student was a thing. A lot of people were sleeping with their professors. It was not a problem. And now it's still not a problem, but they low key tell you not to do it. Fucking your professors. All these girls are always the same age, and the guys always the staff always get older. It's you might want to keep an eye on that kind of stuff. During the date in a drive-in, Chad spikes Julie's drink, bringing her unconscious, drives her to a motel. After checking them in as husband and wife, he photographs her in a variety of sexual provocative. Yeah. He then pulls up to her house as she begins to regain consciousness, saying that she had fallen asleep during the movie. After developing the photographs in the darkness, Chad shows the pictures to Julie. She is furious and threatens to call the police. Chad blackmails Julie into submitting to his romantic intentions. After several weeks of this, Julie announces game is over. She reveals that it's actually she who had manipulated Chad in an elaborate role play of her own design. Really? I don't remember this. Do you really think get blah blah blah? Chad realizes Julia's poison drink, and he collapses straight to the bedroom where she sets fire to the phone. Chad death labor proof. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Uh Millicent, the tale of sibling rivalry. Huh. Karen Black as Julie. I'm remembering. I've smashed two of these together in my head. No, she was. What? She was not in all of these. No, yeah, I guess she was. So she was an actress in these three vignettes. And the one that I'm remember, I have two of them smashed together. But the one that I remember is this one, Amelia, not Julia, Millicent, and Teresa. All right. So Amelia was filmed like a one woman play with Karen Black as the only actor. It was the only one. It was the only film of the three whose script was written by the original author of the story, Richard Matheson. Amir is based on the 1965 short story Prey. The other two are based on stories by Matheson as well, but their screenplays are written by someone else. Amelia lives alone in a high-rise apartment building. She returns home after a fatal shopping spree carrying a package containing a wooden fetish doll. This is the one, right? A wooden fetish doll crafted in the form of a misshapen Aboriginal warrior equipped with a pointy, sharp teeth and a spear. A scroll comes with the doll claiming that the doll contains the actual spirit of a Zuni hunter named He Who Kills, and that the gold chain adorning the doll keeps the spirit trapped within. As Amelia makes call to her mother, we learn that she suffers from her mother's overbearing behavior. Amelia struggles to justify her independence and cancels their plans for evening by claiming she has a date. As Amelia leaves the room, we see that the Zuni fetish doll golden chain has somehow fallen off. Later, Amelia is preparing dinner using a carving knife. She enters the darkened living room and realizes the doll is not on the coffee table. Amelia hears a noise in the kitchen, and when she investigates, the knife is missing. Returned to the living room, she suddenly is attacked by the doll, which stabs her in the ankle viciously. She later traps it in a suitcase, but the doll begins cutting a circle hole through the top of the suitcase with a butcher knife. After several more vicious attacks, Amelia manages to hurl the doll into the oven where it catches fire. She holds the door while she listens to the doll howling, screaming as it burns, and while black smoke billows out, she waits until the screams eventually stops. Opening the oven to ensure the doll is dead, she is struck by some force that pushes her back, and from which she emits a blood-curdling scream. At some point after that, the audience sees Amelia from behind. Placed another call to her mother. It's a calm, controlled voice. She apologizes for her behavior during the previous call and invites her mother to come for dinner. She then rips the bolt from the front door and crouches down low in an animalistic manner, carrying a large carving knife. She is now seen frontally, stabbing at the floor with a weapon, grinning ferally, and revealing the horrific teeth of the Zuni fetish doll whose spirit now inhabits her body. It freaked me out so hard. That I mean, there's a lot of just kind of goofy, yeah, trilogy of terror. What was that one? It was called Amelia. Yeah. Let's see if we can find the image of that doll. And it ends very bizarrely. Like there's got to be an image of her. Like as a kid, yeah, look at this doll. Look at this doll. Yeah. That freaked me the fuck out as a kid. And that little chain. Uh yeah. Ooh. We can close this. Don't be afraid of the dark. Uh and look at her teeth. Now, as a little kid, I was a little kid. Look at this is still freaky, right? Her hair is so wild like the doll. Like she's got this, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this image, man. I mean, I was young enough that I cried. My brother, God rest his soul, got yelled at because my mother was like, "Why are you letting him watch this shit?" Yeah, they're not showing you the big. Yeah, here's the thing: with stabs in the foot. Yeah, good spooky, good spooky. Yeah, so this is a scene that just freaks me out. And then there's a slow. Oh, hold on. There's a slow. Oh, I hate tiny. There's a slow pulling on it. Um, can we do it? Did I just click on the same thing twice? No, both of these are the two different images. But yeah, I'm trying to get. They're all small. Why are they all tiny images? Uh yeah, it freaked me clean out. They're a little bigger. So this image, right, and then they slowly pull in to her face where she like grins and shows as she's jabbing this knife into like the carpet. I was so freaked out. Each story, if I remember correctly, was 20 minutes. Don't be afraid of the dark. How long was each of these vignettes? It doesn't tell you. I think the whole thing was at 74 minutes. So each was 20 minutes. So each one was about 25 minutes, roughly. ABC, it was on TV. It wasn't even in the movies. ABC TV. 1973 October. Freaked me clean out. Yeah, excellent movies if you can find them. Karen Black was just a shit in the 70s, boy. I'm telling you. But hey, it's hard to go wrong being young and pretty in the world, right? There's always look at this thing. Climbed out of the bathtub with a knife in his mouth. Ooh. Let's get a look at that. Look at this thing. Yeah, freaked me out. Look at his eyes. The teeth in the eye. Yeah, freaked me out. Um, Happy Halloween, boys and girls. Uh, Trilogy of Terror. So apparently, I mixed up two of them. One is just doesn't. Well, man, he drugged her up and took nude pictures of her, but she kills him at the end. Look at this. This is mean. That ain't right. Come on, guys. That's not right. Uh, it's 9:30. On your Halloween. Freaky ass little zombie creature. Oh my gosh. Uh, and it stabbed in the leg. It was like this nice effect, man. It's crazy. So yeah, let's close this. Let's open this and open this and open this. I am out of coffee. Do I want more coffee? Get rid of all that stuff and start over. Uh yeah, yeah, I'm a child of the 70s, which means I was born in the 60s. I'm really a child of the 80s. How does that work if you're a child of? If you're a child of, does that mean that your childhood is spent your first decade, or does it mean that when you get to do stuff yourself, like 18, 19, 20, right? 16 to like 25, I guess. What does child of the 80s mean? Let's see if anybody can give us a person born roughly between 72 and 84. They were little kids at the time. Okay, so you had to be a little kid, child of the whatever. So yeah, I guess I'm a child of the 70s. 70s and 80s. Enjoyed cartoons from the era like He-Man, She-Ra, Care Bears, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Jim and the Hot and all. Really? I know He-Man, She-Ra. I know the Care Bears. I know G.I. Joe, but G.I. Joe is older than Transformers was like the 90s, wasn't it? I wonder what a child of the okay, what is a child of the 90s then? It's curious. Group of Orangutan born in child in the 90s. What is a child in the 90s? Kids born between 81 and 1990. Okay, I guess that makes sense. So, what is a child of the 70s? Just curious. No, not that 70s show. What is a child of the 70s? Oh, this is a movie. The 70s was a decade of Gregorian calendar. Yeah, all right. It's a show. So, what is the show about? Who moved to LA when he meets TV star Kiki Lawrence and an egomaniac on the talent agency Bruce Village and so on. It's on Netflix. Not Netflix. It's on Amazon Prime. All right. I guess that's it. Do we want to wrap this up or do we want to go a little longer? Ugh. It's nice and windy. Where's my phone? What's the weather outside?
It's currently clear and 55 degrees.
Another reason why I love living in the South, because I got to tell you, hold it, wait a minute. I'll tell you right now. What's the weather in New York?
It's currently cloudy and 57 degrees in New York, New York.
It's warmer in New York than it is out here. But it's nice because, like I said, it doesn't ever get to be 20 degrees. And that, my dear friends, sucks. It really does. New York tenements. Some people have to heat their house with the stove, all this kind of stuff that shouldn't be happening in America. What happens in America? Halloween. So today, is there an event today? Halloween sports. Well, it's today's Sunday. There's gonna be football games all day. All right, yeah. Uh there's gonna be football games all day, and we're super jazzed about it. I I watched like the last two innings of the World Series yesterday, and the day before I fell asleep round about, I want to say, the sixth inning, just tired. Today, I'm gonna cut on the idiot box, as we used to call it, the boob tube, as they used to call it. But now there are no idiot boxes or boob tubes. Everything is a monitor, a slab, right? Everything is just a screen. Because nothing uses tubes anymore. Young people are leaving their jobs in record numbers and not going back. Good for them. You're supposed to be hopeful and optimistic and willing to take a risk as a young person. And if you're sitting here working, for some asshole and some ridiculousness in an environment where people are finding new gigs, yeah, get out there and find new gigs. I get why if you have a wife and kids, you may be a little more hesitant to do that because you've got a wife and kids. I just can't leave this job and I've got a little time here. It's going to be a harder decision to make. Yeah, but this is Best Buys and freaking all these other things are not gonna. I heard that they're giving $3,000 at Amazon to go and take a job there, and I was like, how long do you have to work there? 6 months? Can you work that week and keep the $3,000? You know what I mean? It's one of those things where they're like, I'm sure they say that, and I'm sure they'll give it to you, but it probably has to be after the first year, and they'll give you that $3,000 bonus on top of whatever you work, increment by increment, versus giving you a fat $3,000 check. The whole environment is really silly. I can't believe I'm not wearing socks. I'm gonna look around and see if I took it off. For the guitars, near where the guitars go. So yeah, tomorrow is November. I have to clean up this room for the new set. Hopefully, I can get it done today. And let's close this and watch TV. We've been streaming an hour, 40 minutes past where we normally go. We normally stream for an hour and 15 minutes every day. Normally goes a little longer than an hour and 15 minutes. The shortest time we spend is about 20 minutes. The shortest we've ever spent was about 15 when I was dog sitting, and then the dog had a chaos agent in his very little soul. I love that dog, but still. And we had to stop because he was being ridiculous. And then we came back and finished the show. So the shortest show was because of Dougie Doug, and that was like Dougie's a doggy. Dougie's awesome. Uh, and yeah, so that was that. But ever since then, we haven't missed a day since we started, and we're here. We adjust the time as necessary, but we're here every day from 6:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And on Sundays, we're here for the Sunday session, which is good for your soul. I want more coffee. I don't want to end this thing yet, but I want more coffee. Normally, we end about 11:30. So all of us can go and watch the news or whatever. Now it's getting cold. I don't know, man. A good horror story, get a cup of whiskey, hang out with your homies. You're 55 years old, is my guess. I'm a little younger than that, but yeah, I'm in my 50s. And am I closer to that, or I used to say in my young man days, I'm closer to 30 than I am to 20. And I used to say that if I was like 27, because it's true. Now I'm closer to 50 than I am to 60, right? But yeah, I'm up there. I'm a veteran of the wars, whatever those wars are. Yeah. And you also know that I'm old because I don't talk pop stuff, right? I don't talk uh Britney Spears being crazy. I may make a comment on, and she does seem crazy to me. She looks like somebody's going to be running her life because her parents made her a trained performing monkey, right? Uh, and like I said, I worked in let's put this up so I'm not the current is on my head. I worked in movies, right? It's an insulated kind of culture, so you can have a giant star and you'll go, oh, well, you have to learn on set, right? And the only thing they really know is how to read and how to write. They don't really know history because that's not really what they're there for. So they get passed, and then other people run their lives, money managers, people buy them airplane tickets. Some people don't know how to change a flat tire in the out here in the real world, us, right? That's true. But their knowledge base is worse. Some people don't, not just don't know how to, they know how to buy a car, but they don't know how to do anything else without an agent or a publicist or a manager. And they lean on too many people who use them, right? Because they didn't learn it, especially all these Disney kids. It's like, it reminds me of like professional sports. Everybody's got a college education, but no one ever talks about their college experience. You notice that? Like, if I'm a retired cop, I tell you retired cop stories because it's part of my life, right? I've also went to college. I told you college stories, even though I didn't graduate. I tell you college stories about friends I met there. They never mention anything about their college life, which tells me they were never in class. They showed up at 18, they went to a couple of classes, and then just played football or just played basketball. But at this point, the most honest person is LeBron James in the NBA, right? Because he was recruited out of high school. He didn't, him and Kobe Bryant, right? But everyone else went to so and so Tech, Stanford University, and then you're like, really? That makes you educated. Would you be doing some of this shit if you were educated? Like, it just looked like they found you, don't know disrespect, but found you in the hood and put you in a jersey. People getting banned, people threatening the football coach. What are you? This is not a gang. This is not a. Well, I thought you were college educated. Yeah, it's a racket, and I got to tell you, it's it's a crime. It's conspiracy. Everybody agrees to it. The government lets it go, but you're giving people college educations to funnel them into the NFL and in classes that they didn't do, right? From all sorts of colleges all over the country. So all these man, yeah, yeah. And you know what? You never also see anybody sitting in class. There's never a picture of any of these guys in the classroom. So yeah, don't even get me started on being a college educated athlete. Just be an athlete. Let them use steroids. Let them rip each other's neck out if they want to. Get them in junior high school if they're 9 feet tall, and but pay them. Poor R. Kelly. I feel terrible for him. It's child abuse. Poor MJ. What are you talking about? R. Kelly and Michael Jackson. What are you talking about? We're not talking about child abuse. Why are you talking about child abuse? Here's the thing about R. Kelly. Everybody knew that was going on for decades. And now all of a sudden people are like, that is outrageous and we protect that. What are you talking about? You stood up for him so you could sell more records. And then it all fell apart and everybody just sort of slid away from him. Right? It's like the whole thing with the Prince and Epstein, right? It's, it is what it is. It is what it is. Uh, did the government kill him? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But which government? Do you think the British came to America and killed him in an American prison? I don't think that happened. But I think this is problematic. You know what I heard yesterday? We're talking about politics now. You know what I heard yesterday? I heard that Biden won't release um, the JFK file, which when they investigated in the 70s, it was like, all right, we're going to hold this for 50 years or whatever. And then the 50 years has come and gone, right? 70, they looked at it in the 70s, I want to 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010s, 2020s. Yeah, they've held it for 50 years. And Trump, Obama, and Joe Biden has pushed it back. They have refused to release it. But it's the law that you have to release it. It's not up to them to not do it. But that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go and arrest the president. It's that. How you gonna make them stand by the law? Trust me, as a black guy, I'm telling you, it's fucking hard to do. So I think that, and from what I was listening about them not releasing this information, I think they thought everybody was going to be dead. Everybody's not dead, right? Some of those congressmen who are on that thing, like Joe Biden, was in his 20s and 30s, so he's helped keep these lives, right? I don't know, man. A lot of people think that this shit show was because, like I said, it was a fiefdom, and a lot of people believe that they call it station, right? The CIA station house, not CIA, FBI station house, FBI CIA, one of those station houses in Florida was doing all sorts of loose shit, right? So they were trying to kill Castro, like do something to his beard. But he thought that was his power. So if I told you that my mustache makes me the man, and a million people are like, oh, you're great, True. Oh, you're awesome. And I'm telling you, I am just so great because this mustache is awesome. They were like, you know what? We're gonna sneak in at night and shave his mustache off. Right? Then I have to show up without my power, and you all go, oh, what was that? You know what I mean? Uh, and I was like, really? Really? You thought his energy was in his mustache? Why are we paying these people? Um, yeah, some people in the 70s broke into an FBI and took all this information. It shows that they were just being ridiculous to the public, right? Like the Bible. Yeah, I wouldn't say. Yeah, I would say I don't know if it's child abuse, but I think it's like, let's put this up. Disney. I don't know if Disney is child abuse, but I would say it's. Is it child abuse? You're not preparing them, but we're making them rich, but they don't know shit. But now to grow up, they need all of us to do right. Is it child abuse? Yeah, I guess it is child abuse. You stunted people for money because the only thing they can do now is remember their lines, hit their mark, and sign an autograph, and then retreat to some giant house. Who are your friends, right? Did you ever go camping? It's some kids have really good parents who are like, this is make believe, and it's going to set you up nicely for the world. Yeah, definitely, it's going to set you up nicely for the world. Um, but don't be an asshole. Like Ron Howard, Opie, the director Ron Howard, he's famously talked about his dad, who was also an actor, was like, "We're gonna do this, but you're not gonna be a prissy little dick." You know what I mean? So that's why he still works. He's not an actor anymore. But that makes sense to me. If you grew up in the environment, why don't you start writing screenplays and learning how to direct? People just have been there, right? And then they go, "I'm an artist." I'm like, "Are you really though? What artsy shit do you do?" At this point, acting, is it really an art so much as it's professional lying, right? You get me to believe something. So now you have Alec Baldwin, who's going to show up in court as an actor and make me believe he's not responsible, right? I'm already like, yeah, but you made me believe you were a spaceman, and you made me believe that you died 1,000 times in movies, right? So now you're on the stand, and I'm supposed to believe your sincerity when I know that you can turn on tears at a heartbeat and all this other stuff, right? I don't know. I mean, where's the art? If I think I don't look. I don't think I love Tom Cruise. I don't know if he's an artist, right? I know acting is hard. Don't get me wrong, and but he, I think the art comes in writing the screenplay, right? That's writing. Writing is an art. It's like me saying I run the marathon. I'm an artist. I don't know, right? Where does the art segment comes into some of this? I can't cry on demand. Yeah, exactly. And I bet you if you could, you'd be making a lot of money in Hollywood, right? It may because it's for their skill set. That's a great thing to have. I can cry on demand. Oh, great, we've got this period piece where the husband is crying and he loves his wife. You're hired. Let's see it. Bam, Oscar nomination, $5 million. You're off to the races. I totally get it. I just don't. I just don't want like having a fender bender, and the cops show up having an actress. Oh, I feel faint. I need, and it's like, dude, the car accident was like a mile an hour. There's a tiny little, oh, my neck. And then the tears start rolling. And people are like, oh my God, she must really be. He must really be. We have to, you have to watch actors in the public sphere, especially in Hollywood where everybody's telling you that everybody is a sexual deviant who did something to them 20 years ago, right? Some of that is lying. We spoke about it on this show, right? Not everybody who gets to sleep with the director gets the part, right? Some of it you get the opportunity. So after you sleep with me, I give you the opportunity to go, and whoever is there just kind of goes, okay, well, you got your foot into the audition, but you're not really what we want, right? And don't get me wrong, it makes sense because if you do get the part, you live in a giant mansion, like in the sunshine, and all your problems are over. And all you had to do was sleep with a dude. And I'm pretty sure a lot of women have slept with dudes for far less. Like I said, I used to be a bar guy, right? Um, yeah, I think the interesting thing is how many guys did it, right? I'm not going to accuse anybody, but some people are like, hey, that guy's really handsome, and hey, this is your big shot. And there was one lady in all this Me Too stuff who they fired for like sleeping with the men, right? Telling the men, come on by, I'll put you on this thing roll if you know, kiss this. I'm trying to come up with your euphemism for vagina. Uh, like taste the pear or whatever. And yeah, and I'm bet sure. What if Harvey Weinstein was like, "Hey, you two guys, who are they? They won an Oscar, and he made them famous. Uh, he was Batman, Ben Affleck, and Matt Damon, right? When they were 24. For all you know, he was like, I really wanted a threesome with boys from Boston. That could have been their start. Now they're both worth $100 million, and they only date supermodels and famous women, right? And this week, they had a hockey guy come out saying he was sexually molested by the professor. What is this? Gilligan's Island by the professor? By the the coach guy. So yeah, I mean, it's not just for women. Power is power. Don't get it wrong. Uh, Power is power, and power sees nothing. Power sees nothing. But here's a question for you: you're in Hollywood, right? You're a waiter working at Starbucks, doing these bullshit shifts to pay the rent with your four roommates who are shifted and stupid, right? Well, not four of them. Like, let's say one's trying to be a musician. You have another actor who's going up against parts. He took your last one. Just kind of like, when is this going to break? And then you serve somebody, and they're like, "You are really handsome. I'm a so and so producer of this, that, or the other thing." It's only great if they don't get hired afterwards. My God. Yeah, and this is the thing. If I mean, I don't want to like that, but I see your point. If this happened, look, if this happened years ago, you gotta go to the cops. You have to, because the problem then becomes because we know people are spiteful, men and women. Who's to say that this just isn't spite? Now you've got no DNA. You've got no. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would encourage you to go. All people listening, my official position is go to the cops as soon as fresh in your memory, evidence all over the place. You can have him arrested, right? Coming back 20 years later, with no. I just think it's become a really easy way to attack men, and I don't like it. I think it's an arrow in the quiver, and you know who uses it a lot? Politician and movie people, right? To this, right? And that makes me, because I think somebody can just show up tomorrow and go, you know, you True Armor did this thing to me in 1980. I don't even know where I was in 1980. But then I got to defend myself and get a lawyer and all this. So it's scary. But that's not to say, don't get it wrong, there's a lot of this shit that goes unreported. I absolutely believe that. But then it becomes, I don't, I'm over a barrel about it. I'm only allowed to. Also, you allow other victims to suffer because you. Thank you. Exactly. You, if he is what you said he is, you let him roam around in the society, doing it to other people. You got to take that dude out of play fucking immediately, right? I'm. I don't. Yeah, I know it's it's a topic that I'm trying not to offend women as I try to broach this topic. I'm trying to be super diplomatic because I know it's sensitive, but at the same time, I want to believe you. But at this rate, you can just point at any guy in the society and say this happened 20 years ago, and have him carted off, right, and ruin his life. Uh, and it becomes about salacious stories, no evidence, just salacious stories, like that Brett Kavanaugh thing. He did this to me at a party. And one woman said she told her girlfriend, and her girlfriend remembered hearing about it. That makes more sense to me, right? And in this modern era, you can sort of prove it because now we've had text messages for a while. People, you can go back and check somebody's phone records if they call. They got the governor here because he sent the text message after saying, "Ooh, sorry, I touched your ass. That was my bad." So yeah, that's all evidence against him. He deserves it, yes. But if somebody had told me, "Oh my God, you sent a text. Oh my God, you did this horrible thing to me, and you're horrible," and you were like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Right? Then 20 years later, you can be like, "Yeah, she said something." I was like, "That girl's crazy," and I just stayed away from her. And then they can pull the thing. She did say she sent the thing, and he said, "What the hell are you talking about? I wasn't here." So now that sort of makes sense. But the idea, and yeah, I mean, that's it. Evidence against him. He's sitting away and copping to it and saying, "I'm sorry, I did the wrong thing." But I don't know. Some of this is bullshit. Groping a lady, that's wrong, but I don't know if you need to go to jail for it. Um, I don't know. I don't want to say pay a fine because then millionaires would be touching everybody and paying fines. But I don't know how to handle it. I really don't. You're going to send the ex governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, uh, to jail on a misdemeanor. Um, it's not even sexual assault. It used to be harassment, and it used to be. No, I guess it was always it's assault, touching somebody who doesn't want to be touched, right? And then you did it in a sexual way. So yeah, I guess it is sexual assault. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just ridiculous about it. It's outrageous. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you let people stay and play and attack other people. But here's the thing in this politics of ours, right? A lot of people know what Bill Clinton and Andrew Cuomo and Joe Biden were up to, right? So it's sort of crazy. It's sort of crazy. Sometimes this is what I think should happen. You should get together, counsel women, and then they should tell us this is what we want done, and then men should veto some shit. I hate to say it because if men don't know what to do about it, women go, "These are our ideas." Guys can go, "This seems a little harsh," and then you can negotiate some stuff, but it should still fall 70%, let's say 60%, 60 to 40% on the side of the women since they're taking the brunt of this, right? But if you go, "Oh, if a man touches a woman at work, he should get 10 years in jail," I'm going to be like, "What? Touching? No, no, no. I don't think that. Yeah, maybe court and jail and firing. Yeah, I get, but 10 years, and then maybe someone will go, okay, maybe not 10 years, but maybe I think 5 is too. And then you can come out, well, if he did this, and then you can come to a sense where at the end of the day, you can tell the people touching women at work will get you not only get you fired, but get you an absolute year in jail. A year seems fair for like touching, but all that other stuff of sexual penetration, all that's just there's crime for that already. They call that rape. Why do we need another one in the workplace for that? You see what I'm saying? So some of this is just weird to me. And I think a lot of it is grandstanding, so people can run on. I'm tougher on crime, right? So you put all these black people in jail in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And then you go, yeah, the crime bill was bullshit. And you were essentially like a government, like Klansman, putting innocent people in jail or giving bad people who should have been put in jail ridiculous sentences for what they did, right? So uh, if I bonked you over the head and stole your wallet, it's assault and it's robbery. Each one gets me 5 years. I should do 10 years. Instead, I'm doing 25. Uh, it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, yeah. And a lot of these, I told this story on stream, so I'll say it again. I drank at a bar, right? And I hung out, no, I hung out downstairs from where I worked, was the sex crimes unit. And one night, we were talking, I'm always counter with all the arguments, right? I was talking to this woman and she told me, I forgot who the case was, but she told me that she had been assaulted, sexually assaulted. And she told me how. Just kind of like, not like in detail, but like, but the story was exactly the same as someone had told me a couple of weeks ago. And it was a story that I had heard from the cops. Two women had told another woman's story. The rape was this dude I used to know named Tree, right? He used to sell weed. He was a cool dude. Everybody liked Tree. Tree, you come in, he was a black dude. Come to the bar, hang out. Uh, Always women would go home with him, right? Happened a lot. That happens in bars. Go have sex. One day, woman comes back, says he raped her. Everybody's like, who, Tree? And like she had a sort of a reputation in the place. And people were like, man, whatever, right? He went to jail. And everybody in the place was the talk of the bar. And those two women told me that rape story to win it to prove a point. And since then I've been like, some of these bitches will say anything. I was like, man. So yeah, it's what do you do? I want to win this argument on points. So I'm going to tell you this rape story that happened to me, but it didn't happen to me. And I just happen to know it was bullshit because, like I said, I was a cop and I worked downstairs from the Brooklyn North sex crimes unit, and I was cool with a couple of the cops who worked there. And another thing, right? I see women walking up. There's another thing, and I said that on this show too, and I don't want to sound cold about it. The rape victims will come in and go upstairs to the rape uh, Brooklyn South rape squad to file a complaint and say this happened or be interviewed or whatever. And some of them would bring family and friends, and they look jarred, and but others of them would come by themselves, and they look like so. It's happened differently with a lot of people, but some would show up, sit outside, smoke cigarette, laugh with their like girlfriends, like you're waiting for tickets to a movie, and you go, huh. So, and then the guys upstairs would tell me, man, some of these people are full of shit. But they're the sex crimes investigating rape, so they can say that. I can't say that. But I'm just looking at what I've seen. People handle everything differently, and I just started going, "Oh man, she's got a story to tell." And but these two are looking trifling and ridiculous. But yeah, they will come down and go, but you have to treat everything like, oh yeah, oh my god, that's horrible, right? Even though as he said, because yeah, I don't know, man. But what happened with Tree was he copped the deal. Instead of doing 30 years for rape, he copped the 15, and that's how they put you in jail. Remember, it wasn't rape, but it was a robbery. I forgot his name. There's a Netflix special about him. His case was we're gonna hold you for robbery, and they threw him in jail for like 3 years with no trial. And then they kept trying to, okay, you know what? You're gonna do 10 years, but if you sign here, you'll do seven. You'll do five rather, and that's it. He was like, no, I'm innocent. I'm not going. And then a year later, they come back. All right, if you sign this thing and say you're guilty, you'll do 5 years. You'll do 2 years, five. You'll do well. You'll do the time you did now will count as it, and you can go home with a with a no. I'm not doing that, right? And then they're like, well, we're gonna take your trial and put you in jail for 30 years. Okay, but I didn't mug anybody, and then this is bullshit. Meanwhile, he has to be a gladiator in jail for 3 years, and then his date passes, date passes, date passes, date pass, and then one day he's in court with the judge, and the judge goes, All right, Mr. God, what is his name? Khalif Browder. All right, Mr. Browder. If you cop to this here in court, he's in full court. All this other stuff happened behind the scenes where they will come to him in jail and go, if you sign this, you'll do 10 years and you'll do 10 years for the thing. But if you sign this, you'll do 5 and you can be out. And then, you can do 5, but this will count as time served and you'll be out in like 6 months. Or we'll let you out right now if you cop to this. They just tried to close the book on some fuckery, lawyers, because and he stood his ground, and they couldn't figure out a way to get him to cop to it. So then the last incidence of this is a judge going, if you cop to this right now in this court, you can leave and go home from this courtroom, not go back to Rikers Island that you've been for 3 years. And he was like, no, I'm innocent. Okay, we're going to set a trial date. Okay. Then they sent him back, and then 2 weeks later, they dropped all charges. That's sinister fucking evil. And then he went home and killed himself because you tortured him. You really did. He said he had to sleep on his shoes so nobody would steal him. He had to fight every day. And then the corrections guard would teach him a lesson, throw him in solitary naked, beat him up. He was like 17. Now cop to this so we can get about our happy day claim that the Justice Department is wonderful. What? That Khalif Browder thing should have prompt changes throughout the country, and it didn't. So my whole position is fuck Joe Biden and fuck these Republicans. Yeah, you're not even giving me police reform. You're not giving me free college. You're not giving me anything that I want. But you want me to show up Tuesday and vote for Terry McAuliffe? I got a whole bag of go fuck yourselves. It's right here. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. But over here in my box of give a fucks is empty. I got no fucks to give. So if you want go fuck yous, they're infinite. If you want me to give a fuck, it's empty. So it depends on what you come at me for, Democratic Party. As I roll my eyes, I want more coffee. As I roll my eyes to it. It's 10:05. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 22 minutes, and we are not done. I'm gonna go turn on. Excuse me. I'm gonna go turn on the coffee wasminator and set myself up for another. Set myself up for another one. People aren't stupid. People know you're fucking with them, right? And in the old days, you didn't know how the fuckery happened. But now in this modern era, the secret that you could hold for 50 years now are out in like weeks, right? Or maybe a year. So you're trying to hold on to this JFK stuff, but time has moved past it. The stuff that you could do and got away with for 100 years, you can't do anymore. And I think some of these judges and lawyers are still doing them. My favorite ridiculous judge moment is there was a judge who invited the defense attorney backstage and beat him up. Did you see that? And then he tried to spend the rest of his career getting his judgeship back. And judge was like, what? No, fuck you. He was like, oh, PTSD because I was a military, Marine military. Give me a break, military. They're like, no, you beat up somebody, you asshole. You put people in jail for what you did. And while this happened, the bailiffs in the court was just like, and you could hear him beating people up. There are people in the gallery. And I'm like, why was he ever a judge? Why didn't the bailiff stop this? What kind of ungodly power do you have in this weird little room? And that's my thing. So let's look up this guy. Judge beats up, was he the prosecutor, the defense attorney? Judge beats up court lawyer. Raw Florida judge punches attorney and yeah, it went on for 2 minutes. You can hear him beating him. Yeah, motherfucker. I heard. It's not like he hit him once. It was. I don't like these videos. I don't like to show them. And here he is. Judge fights for career after it wasn't an altercation. It was not an altercation. It was come here. I'm the judge. This is my come here. What you said? No. You're in what did they call it? In contempt. Outrageous. Here we
A
go.
Brevard County judge making a last-ditch effort to save his seat on the bench. He's accused of threatening a lawyer.
Judge John Murphy says it was a perfect storm of emotions and fatigue last year that led to his outburst. West Tuesday Bill
Wait,
is live.
did he say he's accused of threatening a lawyer?
Accused of threatening a lawyer.
That's not what he was accused of. All right, let's go.
Judge John Murphy says it was a perfect storm of emotions and fatigue last year that led to his outburst. West Tuesday Bill is
all right, hold on. First, I want to get the coffee on. We're gonna while the coffee's burning, heating up. I'll be back to talk to you about this. But yeah, don't go anywhere. Give me about 15 seconds. All right. I can hear it simmering. See, that's gonna go. I had to take a pee. So I didn't make a cup of coffee. I should run out there, all right, god damn it. Hold on. God dang it. All right. I was gonna wait until it doesn't whistle, but it hits a pitch. And I was like, that's gonna be like another 30 seconds. So I was like, can't wait in there. I'll wait in here.
At the Brevard County Courthouse. And Dan, what does Judge Murphy say was behind the outburst?
Well, Judge Murphy says there were a lot of things on June 2nd of last year when he walked through these courthouse doors. A lot of trouble on his mind. His father had died recently. He'd been on a very fatiguing trip.
I'm sorry. People go to court all the time with life issues. Parents dying, girlfriend broke up with him, don't know, right? Judges don't give a fuck. Now all of a sudden you're supposed to have, look, all the empathy he wants from you. This is an old court case. When is this? 2015. All the support, all the understanding, all the empathy he wants you to give him so he could keep his $200,000 a year job. He gives to nobody, I bet you. All right, we're gonna be right back because that coffee just stopped. That hot water just stopped. All right. I can make this Irish coffee by dumping about 2 ounces of whiskey in it. We're gonna slow that down. It's 10. You know what? We're gonna do this probably for another 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna tackle this room and clean it up. All right. Let's get into the rest of this.
And in his courtroom, he would find a lawyer with whom he'd already had several problems. Judge John Murphy has revealed that he believed public defender Andrew Weinstock was so incompetent that his clients were not getting a fair shake in Murphy's courtroom.
Okay, if you believe this, that he's incompetent and people his clients aren't getting a fair shake, you're the judge. You can mitigate that by letting them off if it's running on that. You know what I mean?
The judge.
6/2/2014.
Murphy brought his anger management counselor to tell the Judicial Qualifications Commission that he was beset by a perfect storm of emotions and exhaustion. But a prosecutor said it another way.
Judge Murphy abandoned reason.
A supervisor in the public defender's office defended Weinstock, saying he was simply representing his clients that day, with one rather important exception.
With the exception of going back to the hallway and meeting Judge Murphy.
Weinstock argues Murphy hit him.
If you want to fight, let's go out back and I'll just let's go.
I stopped it right there. The judge says, if you want to fight, let's go out back. And he goes, let's go. And then you can hear this too. Listen.
The court video went viral, and the state commission accused Murphy of violating the Judicial Code of Conduct. Murphy's
Do you want to fight?
Pleaded for suspension, not removal from the bench.
So he goes, oh, give me a 2-week suspension. That'll show me. And then let me go back to my fuckery. Some of this shit should be one and dones. Really, it should be one and done.
And then we have this 1 hour or 1 day in this one man's life. And for that, he is to be judged.
And sitting in judgment is the Judicial Qualifications Commission, which will make a recommendation to the state Supreme Court. And that court will decide then if there is any penalty to Judge Murphy. That could take a few months. And in the meantime, Judge Murphy will remain on the bench.
He's still, yeah. So what happened to Murphy here is he was fired. The comments are turned off because it became, yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't even turn it, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the idea of this fuckery is ridiculous. Florida Judge John C. Murphy fired for appalling behavior. Let's get into it. Sean Federico Omercha. Good job. December 18, 2015. The Florida Supreme Court has fired a Brevard County judge for appalling behavior after he infamously threatened and then got into a physical altercation with a public defender outside the courtroom, all of which was caught on video. In the ruling, the top court overruled the Florida Judicial Qualification Commission, which is the video we just saw. They apparently gave him a fine and 120-day suspension. A fine and what is 120 days? 4 months? 4 months suspension? The fuck out of here. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, that's 4 months, 30 days in a month, right? 120 days suspension, 4 months vacation, and a $50,000 fine of his giant paycheck of $250,000. A public reprimand, stick a public reprimand in his file, like anybody reads the public rep, and then he can continue being a judge. No, his judgment is shit. A public reprimand and continue participation in the mental health therapy program. Judge Johnson, they'll look, they don't bend over this far backwards to protect anybody but themselves. They really don't. Instead, the Supreme Court ruled that, and rightfully so, because I look at it like this. I don't want him around me, and I'm a lawyer. He'd be up a lawyer, and no, right? I think he would have did this, if he would have hit a defendant or something, it'd be different. But this, just like the January 6th people are all going to do hard time, not because they affected you or me, because they affected the people who make the laws, right? It affected them personally. Oh my God, oh, I was afraid there was hunter outside. Yeah, of course I want them to fucking get railroaded because after all, we're all lawyers, right? So no, they don't get a fair day, and I don't know how fair it would be. But also, there are several congressmen who died of COVID after January 6th. A fair amount of Congress people. We'll look that up in a second. Instead, the Supreme Court ruled that Murphy was not fit to serve as a judge after the confrontation with the assistant public defender, Andrew Weinstock, on June 2nd, 2014. At least a public defender still has his gig. Notwithstanding his prior judicial performance, Judge Murphy's total lack of self-control became a national spectacle. and embarrassment, only to the judge himself, but also to Florida's judicial system and to the greater judicial system at large, I would say. Given the clear erosion of public confidence in the jury, given the clear erosion of public confidence in the judiciary's cause by his misconduct, removal is an appropriate sanction. He still gets to be a lawyer, though. Does the bar take his law license? During the disciplinary hearing, Murphy submitted a Veterans Affairs finding that he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder from his service in Afghanistan. Or no one cares about my PTSD. I get wiggy every time I see a plane. I really do. The judge first, not like flying low, like, yeah, that 9/11 shit is still with me. The first judge, but no one cares, right? Move past it. What are you, a whiny bitch? Come on, suck it up. That's what they'll tell you. The judge first elected to the court in September 2006, served with special forces in several countries and was awarded the Bronze Star as well as 2 meritorious service medals. The Supreme Court noted that the severity of the judge's Murphy's behavior and the VA finding leave open the possibility of future misconduct. Ha! Your evidence says you might do it again. After revealing, the Broward County Chief Judge John D. Galuzzo wished Murphy success in his future efforts, while noting that the vacancy caused by his removal from the office should not result in significant disruptions of court services. Yeah. Now I bet he's in private practice, probably practicing to other military people. I mean, the fucking idea of that is ridiculous, isn't it? I'm going to get off the bench to beat you up. And you can see how that happens when you're old and too old to beat people up, but you hate them anyway. Then you give them dark and harsh sentences, and no one cares. People getting 30 years in jail who've been convicted by all white juries. Still. Yeah, the whole thing is a shit show. I gotta tell you, coffee is awesome. What am I doing? Don't even ask me. So, yeah, the justice system is shameful. Yeah, all this shit, man. You are on point with a lot of this shit you're saying here. Right? It's too easy to ruin a life out of spite. You're absolutely right. The justice system is shameful, right? To Black people, it's racist and arrogant, but I think to a lot of white people, it's judgmental and fucking like mean-spirited, right? No one gets a real fair day. I mean, it's just people, they want to tell white folk, oh, well, those people, they did this, so don't, but when in actuality, it's about how they handle a lot of it. It's not just how they handle Black stuff, and I'm not saying be coddle criminals. I'm not saying that. Hey, what I'm saying, and I just tell you about Khalif Browder. So I have a burr up my butt about this, but it's not about these fucking drug dealers out here. Lots of money shooting up the place. In my opinion, they ruined themselves and their neighborhood, and someone else throw them in the far bowels of the jail, and then they'll say racism, unfair policeman. What the fuck are you talking about? You're a drug dealer. By all acknowledgments, of course you don't like the cops, right? I'm talking about the average common working man of all stripes who should not be disrespected. Remember a couple of years ago, this old guy was visiting America from India, and someone called the cops on him, and the cops rolled up. The guy was like 90 and body slammed him for no reason, made him a permanent paraplegics aren't permanent, made him a paraplegic. Now, like, that was unnecessary. First of all, the dude, you can grab some people because they don't have any power, and hold them. And then there was more of you there. It's not like you need to wrestle with him. He's not like a wrestler. And you know what I mean? They just do this mean shit. It's like they take shots at people. And once you see that, you got to get rid of them. And they're like, no. The other union said, fuck your union if you keep bad people around. Now, your union is just a low-key clan club, right? Police officer fired for body slamming Indian. Let's go visitor. Assault charges dropped for Alabama cop who partially paralyzed. Really? Assault charges dropped for Alabama cop who partially paralyzed Indian grandfather. Why did they drop the charges? Following a motion filed Thursday by Alabama, a judge dismissed state misdemeanor assault charges against a Madison police officer who allegedly slammed an Indian man to the ground last February during a suspicious person stop. Alabama Attorney General Luther Strange's request came after 2 federal juries failed to reach a verdict in the civil rights case against Eric Parker. Really? So what, did he paralyze himself? This shit is on video. This is why I don't understand how you're not getting convictions when the thing is on video. There was no resisting. He was walking. He didn't speak any English. And the dude just comes up from behind and slams him on his head. This guy. I mean, there were 3 of you. You couldn't take this. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And look at him. Parker still faces civil lawsuits connected with the incident. You know, you're supposed to look here. Here's the incident. He doesn't speak any language. I don't like showing this violent shit, but yeah. In her 92-page ruling, granting a defense motion for acquittal, Hakayla wrote that it was reasonable for Parker to have investigated Patel on the basis of that's true. And that the slow motion clip from the dash cam showed Patel had resisted Parker before the takedown. You know, these fucking judges, man, they just make up evidence. This should be about your good judgment and how the population views, and they're not. They're not. One group of people you should vote for is judges, and you never do. You vote for the DA, but by then you don't know what the DA's history is. I never vote for judges when it comes up because I don't want to put a sinister fucker in power. But generally, all the other politicians who are all lawyers, I generally know what they did. Like Amy Klobuchar, putting that guy in prison. I know what she did, and when she was running for office, everybody knew what she did, and she's still in Congress. Like, oh well, I took a run at the presidency. Yeah, well. You leave the bad people around, right? Take them out of play. And they don't do that. Whew, we have been streaming for 2 hours and 42 minutes. Do we want to talk more judgment? I mean, all this stuff is scary, and it is Halloween. Ooh. Dang it. Oh, it stayed on. I had to glue my Buddha's head back on because it keeps breaking and falling off right at the neck point. The Buddha. All right, so what are we doing here? Where's my phone? We may crash out, and like I said, go. Let's close this. What is that? This is the news. His mom. The G20 had. Do we even want to know what the G20 said? Prince Charles, HRH, Prince of Wales. G20 leaders struggle to secure climate breakthrough at Rome summit. I said this a week ago because a lot of our allies are still on shit that we don't want them to be on. Like the one I keep mentioning is Australia, right? Australia is still big in the coal like China. So they voted on the world stage like China. They might as well be mansion and cinema for what is going on here. You need to save the world. But they're like, yeah, we're not. But I get, how fast does it take to turn your whole system over if the world is dying? How are you voting against it? Delta surge of COVID recedes, but you said that. SCOTUS will hear arguments over Texas near total abortion ban. What did Kangan Kronos say on The Simpsons? Abortions for everybody. Yay! Half the crowd goes yay, half the crowd goes boo. Then he goes, oh, abortions for nobody. Then the same thing happens. Then he goes, okay, abortions for some, no abortions for others. And they both go, yeah, and like both groups applaud him. Kang and Kronos, abortions for everybody. It's so goofy. Here we go. Let's do it.
Abortions for all. Very well. No abortions for anyone. Abortions for some, miniature American flags for others.
Okay, that's what it was, miniature American flag. King Kronos. It's just The Simpsons. Oh, today is Sunday, so there's going to be a Simpsons episode tonight. I vote for him. Oh, we got a two-party system. Just yin and yang put together shows how easily people eat up the garbage. We are merely exchanging long protein strands. If you can't think of a simple way, I like to hear it. Yeah, I like to have a beer with him. Twirling, 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 twirling towards freedom. That's another great line in this episode. Where you say boo or boo earns. Timely. Bob Dole is uncircumcised. What? Vaccines for all. Democracy. Vaccines for all 3 weeks ago. Democracy, schmocracy. We deserve the right to choose. Yeah, very well. Miniature American flags. I remember the quote wrong. Yeah. Here in Virginia, there's ad campaigns talking about radical. They'll want to call somebody radical. He wants to have abortions in the 9th month. Idiot. That's not true. That's an obvious lie. And I said before, you want to make America great? Stop allowing people to lie in news programs and in political media, right? If you want to lie to me in other stuff that isn't serious, but if you're running for office, you shouldn't be able to lie at lie at your press release, right? But you should be able to lie at like not a protest rally, an election rally, or in a campaign ad. But they don't want to do that because they're all fucking liars, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, justice system. Yeah, thought I liked this. Why didn't it come up? The justice system has been shameful. I think I put it up for him. If she says no twice, it's a double negative. So yeah, I guess that's it. It is 10:30. We have been streaming for 2 hours and 57 minutes. Normally we go for another hour and a half. But it's Sunday, it's Halloween. We're gonna wrap this up so I could sort of try and figure out what the next phase of this room is gonna be. I'm gonna play my guitar, smoke a J, and call my family and wish them all happy Halloween. And I'm gonna get ready for tomorrow's show, which is All Saints Day, right? And like I said, there's no costume now. There won't be a costume tomorrow, me dressed as the Pope. It's just me wishing you well, telling you that in all this unfairness, I guess, that happens in this place, you gotta know what's coming down the pipe. That's really what woke means, right? I see a lot of people spitting on the word woke. Woke is sort of for Black people. It's not, but you want to demonize it so nobody wants to be woke, right? And woke just means know who the bad players are. Know that there are crappy judges like we just showed you, crappy cops like we show you like easily 3 times a week. There are sinister people, right? There are girls who are working men. All these things, but America wants you to believe everything is great, everything is fine. Nobody's got anything, any minuses to that character, and it's all fine. Even as you can't get people anything that they want politically because there's a stalemate. And why is there a stalemate? Everybody has to take their marching orders from giant conglomerates and corporations versus the people, which is what's supposed to be. All right. I could cook something today too. What am I going to cook? If I'm going to do this, I should cook chicken and potatoes, which is easy. And I can eat it all week. The best thing to do, guys, is cook a big meal on the weekend, like Saturday, Sunday, and you can nibble on it all week. That's always a good thing. But you got to stop eating this fast food, this stuff. Occasionally, don't get me wrong, but I know people who exist on it, and that's not good. If you eat too much fast food, your hair fall out, and your penis will shrink. Unless you're a lady, then you'll grow a penis. So watch it. Are you taking shots at me because we don't have a team here in Virginia, William? Who's the big NFL team in Virginia? I think the Virginians follow the Red Sox, not the Red Sox, the Redskins. They're the closest team that I see everybody wearing down here. That's a good question, though. Let's see if we can find that in line. Virginia's leanings for a football team. Let's see. Virginia's leanings for a football team. Because I'm wondering, you could have who's close to us? Virginia. You could go this way and have Dallas. No, I guess everything is south of us, right? So it's either going to be the Florida teams, the Dolphins, or the Come on, what's the other Florida team? The why am I thinking the Mariners? I've got baseball in my head. The Dolphins, the what is the other Florida? Good Lord, what is the other Florida football teams? Florida pro teams. Good Lord, what is going on with my brain? Okay, you got the Dolphins, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Because Tom Brady. Maybe I put it out of my head on purpose. Got a ton of college teams, but yeah. So Tampa Bay. So it's probably one of those teams. Jacksonville, three teams. Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow, they have three football teams. Huh. That's amazing. Wow. All right. So what is this one? Good Lord. For a pro, a NFL team. NFL versus the election map of football. What is the closest NFL team in Virginia? The Washington Redskins, the Panthers, or the Tennessee Titans, West Virginia? The Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are not near Virginia. Come on, guys. I think it's either the Redskins or the Carolina Panthers. We're right above Carolina, right? But I don't like the Panthers. I think the Carolina Panthers, ugh. NFL political donors, defensive guide to each player, Washington home, Virginia Beach, Bruce Smith. Well, Bruce Smith, who played famously, was a monster running back for the Buffalo Bills. And when they went to the Super Bowl, I want to say 5 times and lost 5 times. 5 consecutive times and lost 5 consecutive times. It was heartbreaking to watch. Buffalo Bills Super Bowl losses. As a member of the American Football League, the Bills won 2 league championships, 64 and 65, while playing with the NFL. After the merger of the AFL and NFL in 1970, they appeared for a record 4 consecutive Super Bowls, 1991 to 1994, losing on each occasion. But at least they I mean, this is the thing about it, right? You still get a championship for being the best in your league, right? So they were the best in their league, right? Not their league, their conference for 4 years straight. Not easy to do. And then just could not win a Super Bowl. Yeah. You know who loves what is his name? I forgot the quarterback's name. He got cancer. What is his name? His name is right out of my head. Super decent dude. You know, here's the thing about sports, man. Yeah, well, yes. Scott Norwood, wide right. Oh my God. And everybody hated on him, and it took them like 10 years to forgive him. Jim Kelly. Scott Norwood retired from football, never to be seen again. And then they did what they did with Steve Bartman, with the baseball thing in the World Series. Everybody was mad at him, but then people, I mean, it happened sooner with Bartman, but like years later, people started trying to reach out to Norwood because they were like, man, it's a game, and you know, your boss, and you took us, you know, and he sort of looked like there was an interview with him. he seems so, you know, this, how can I phrase this? There's something that you love all your life, right? And something happens where it affects you so negatively. Bill Buckner, I remember watching that with the Mets in the World Series. Here's the thing about Bill Buckner. They were saying Bill Buckner shouldn't have been out there because his knees were dead. He had a bunch of knee surgeries, and Bill Buckner could not. I mean, they expected him to catch it, but he couldn't run you know, he couldn't bend down to touch the floor because his knees were bad. You're a professional athlete, though. You see what I'm saying? And you get to this point, and mind you, this is football. This is not football. This is baseball. This is not football. So Bill Buckner's knees, and it got. Who hit it? I want to say. Oh man. I used to. Oh man. This is the thing about sports. I remember, but I forget the names. But I know people who know the names and the ERAs, and like in the 50s when they used to trot box scores. Well, he's got a this like that, and I just want to watch the athletes be athletic. Bill Buckner. Bill Buckner. Let's ask why, because I remember asking this. Bill Buckner. Why did Bill Buckner? Oh, he died 2019. Good Lord. In Boise, Idaho. Why did Bill Buckner miss ground ball? How did Buckner miss the ball? On the 10th pitch of the at bat, he knocked 6 pitches foul. Wilson poked the ground ball right to Buckner. At first, Buckner bent to field the ball, but it bounced right over his glove and kept rolling down the right field lane. And he couldn't chase it because he had shit knees. Oh, it's one of those things.
Now at Wawa, get 15 cents off.
All right, stop it with the Wawa stuff. We like Wawa. We approve of Wawa. Wawa is friggin' awesome. Here we go. See, look at him run. Was it Carter who? I totally remember this totally differently. Oh my God. Look at him. People won't get off of him. Oh my God. Look at this. Yeah. All right. Let's see what they say. Bill Buckner misses a routine ground ball that leads to the Mets winning Game 6 of 1986 World Series. They could have closed that. Bill Buckner's shame this one play defined his whole career. That's the way it works. Sometimes the one play, like the miracle catch, right? That one play defined his whole career. That miracle catch, Joe, oh man, I'm forgetting his name too, of the Steelers, right? That one where he manages a fingertip grab it and then run it in for a touchdown and win the World Series. Defined his whole career. He had a great career. It just so happened he made one bad play at the worst time possible. Rest in peace, Bill. Yeah, nobody's. Oh, yeah. There was Mookie Wilson. There was Carter. I forget his first name. Yeah, man. It was. Yeah, yeah. Agreed. I absolutely agree with this. I absolutely. And apparently he was a decent dude too, right? No, yeah, you're right. Wow, you knew this right off. I thought that I remembered it as the last game, but I think it kept them in because the Mets won the series after that, right? And I think they could have closed it out. Let's Mets. Hold on. Let's go back to what we were looking for. We were first of all, hold on. We're all over the place. We were looking for Jim Kelly too. I'm in 2 things, right? Browsing. Bill Buckner. All right, so we want this Bill Buckner. 1986. All right. So 1986 World Series. Ugh. Oh, I just found out this thing has a sort of a non-click roll button, which I was like, oh, I can use that on these streams. Season NHL Boston Red Sox over California 4-3. New York Mets over Houston 4-2. Yeah, game 6, it went to game 7. The 1986 West Ham Mets 86 National League champion New York Mets and the American League champion Boston Red Sox. The Mets won the series 4-3 to claim their second World Series title since 1969. The Miracle Mets of 1969. I got to see their second series title. But yeah, that miss was so important because it kept them in the game, and then they came back to win. If he had done that in the third game, I don't think it would have been a big deal. But like you said, 1986 World Series, baby. Miserables. Yeah. I'll tell you, man. I guess now that I look at that, I guess the media has a lot of how we view shit. And they don't, and you can really see it in sports, but like the hand is also there with miserables. The hand is also there in sports, not sports, but in courts and other things. Jim Kelly, God bless him. Bills lose 4 World Series. There's got to be a ridiculous video. The NFL teammate is 4 straight Super Bowl and lost. Top 10 teams that didn't win the Super Bowl. They've got to be number 1. 30 years ago today, an unforgettable moment in Bills history. Let's look up Scott Norwood. Wide right. Let's look at it. Field goal against the Giants. Those 2 moments, Bill Buckner and Scott Norwood, as a
Right will hold it. Norwood will kick it from the right hash mark with 8 seconds left, and the Giants leading Buffalo 20-19. It's a 47.
20-19.
Norwood assumes the position. Lindner waits to snap it.
It's wide right. It's wide right.
Here's the kick. It is up. It is no good. No one missed. 4 seconds left. The Giants have won Super Bowl 25 with a score of 20-19.
A dead ass thought that the thumbnail said Joe Buck. Sorry, really interesting how long Boring's call would be. I'm from Buffalo and I was 6 years old. I remember total silence in our living room, something I'll never forget. Man, oh man, even after all these years, I still feel a tear for the guy. I saw an interview of him. He said there isn't a day that he doesn't go by, he doesn't think about it. He's tormented. Sports on a certain level are not really real. We make them up and ascribe a high level of importance to them. But in reality, the earth remains as it was in the moment before the kick. Chin up, Scott. You're a good man, better than most of us. Joe Buck was, yeah. Scott Norwood. Yeah, that's Scott Norwood. Let's look up Scott Norwood because I'm telling you, I was like, that interview, he might have been the same interview. That interview was heartbreaking. It ended his career. It was the last kick he took. Scott Norwood. God, Lord. Does wide right haunt Bill? Wide right. Does wide right haunt Bill's kicker Scott Norwood? In that NFL film, Scott Norwood, Buffalo Bills. Scott Norwood misses the field goal of his career. Jack Buckhorst, Scott Norwood missed. Scott Norwood's speech in Buffalo. An unforgettable moment. Bills kicker Scott Norwood missed one right. What does Scott Norwood do right now? What do you mean he's a millionaire? He sits in a nice place and he chills, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I saw an interview. He just, yeah. Looking back at Scott Noah's Super Bowl miss, does White Right haunt Bills? Yeah. Well, let's go here now. The video, man, I gotta tell you, is this the video? I don't know. The video of it is fucking just amazing. Not the, I mean, like his interview. He's sitting in his house. He answers every question, sort of like someone died. Like he's thoughtful and he's pensive and he's just sort of still. He's kind of quiet, and you watch this and you go, "Oh wow!" Like, oh, I feel bad for him. I'm glad, yay, we won 30 years ago. But yeah, I think he's tormented. Um, Super Bowl 25 played with the Gulf War in progress ended with the New York Giants defeating the Buffalo Bills 20-19 after Scott Norwood's 47-yard field goal attempt with 8 seconds remaining missed. The kick came down to be known as wide right and received disproportionate blame for the first of Buffalo's 4 straight losses in the NFL. An objective review of the game reveals several more significant factors. All right. Yeah, I don't want to know the significant factors. I want to know how Scott's doing. Scott Norwood began his pro football career in 1983 with the Birmingham Stallions of the now defunct United States Football League. He joined the Buffalo Bills in 1985 and was their place kicker for the first 2 Super Bowl seasons. All 7 of Norwood's NFL seasons came with the Bills, and he finished 133 for 184. Oh, okay. That's not he made 133 and he lost 184. That would be bad. Of the 184 kicks, he made 133. All right, fine. 72. I was about to say what? Attempts. He made 80% of his field goal attempts. He was a good kicker. That's why he was in the NFL. Scott Norwood has overcome White Right. I would hope so. In his 4 year, I don't want to hear what other people say. Scott Norwood lasted 1 more season with the Buffalo Bills, firing the right kick, and did not play in another NFL game. Noah and his wife. So he was. See, here's the thing. He came back next year, but he didn't do any kicking the whole season, and then that was his last year. Scott Norwood lasted 1 more season with the Buffalo Bills, firing the wide right kick, and did not play in another NFL game. Noah and his wife moved their family to Virginia, where it's warmer, and he kept a low profile for several years while working in insurance sales and trying to move beyond the memory of this, the miss that came to define his career. He went and worked in insurance as some kind of like, I'm sure, highly paid executive because he gradually re-engaged with the team, and the former Bills players has been a guest at card and memorabilia shows where he sometimes asked to sign pictures related to the missed kick. A comment for this year that he added as wide right to the autograph if fans requested. Wow. So, and people ask you this, and then he does it. And not only does it, if you go, can you sign wide right? And he does that. First of all, he shouldn't. You shouldn't ask him to do that. And the fact that he do that oh man, come on, man. Scott Norwood is fast becoming one of my more favorite people. I'd be lying if I said that's an enjoyable experience, but it's part of the history of my career, and it's clearly a historical moment in Bill's history. So I learned to cope with it as best I can. I can't deny that kick happened, and most people are good about it, not confrontational. So I signed the photo and keep on moving and keep moving. Yeah, good job, man. Virus impressive. Said Phone Bills general manager Bill Poland. It's been rough. It's been a rough go. He's handled it better than anybody could have ever imagined. He is what he's always been, a great person, a level-headed, empathetic guy. Now 59, Noah helps run Friends Landscaping Company and recently began teaching physical education at his elementary school. The famous Buffalo Bill kid came back in 1983 would have broken social media. Yes, it would have. And it existed back then with fans trying to climb back in the stadium and backup quarterbacks marching all over Houston Oilers. The shocking comeback had all the hallmarks of an unbelievable Hollywood screenplay. However, this was more than just a historical NFL comeback. The classic game remains one of the shining moments for a franchise known for losing 4 consecutive Super Bowls. As Josh Allen, the resurgent Bills hope to return to the title contention nearly 30 years later. The comeback stands as a testament to overcoming seemingly impossible hurdles. 1 touchdown at a time. They were a good team. They all were a good team. They had a good team. Here's the thing: Jim Kelly isn't hated, and he lost 4 Super Bowls, right? And I think even when he lost, people were like, oh, damn, Jim Kelly. But he was still their guy. Scott Norwood was just kind of like, I guess in football, people like to give the kickers crap, right? Jim Kelly lost 4 Super Bowls, but learned a valuable lesson. Yeah. Jim Kelly left with Russ Belt's city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to play quarterback in the sunshine of Miami when the Buffalo Bills picked him number 14 over in 1983. Yeah, man, I don't know. Scott Norwood, God bless you, Scott Norwood, wherever you is, my homie. Let's get a picture of Scott in the modern era. The geography of NFL fandom. Oh, this is what we were looking for. Let's see if we can get this. Don't let it be small. Oh, you guys are awesome. Whoever put this up there. All right. So, Redskins. Yeah, I was right. Look at all the. Oh, I hate when that happens. How's that? Look at all the Redskins. Panthers. Wow. North and South Carolina. That makes sense. There's the Carolina Panthers. But the bottom of it has the Falcons. Really? The Steelers. Look at the Cowboys. Good gravy. Here's the thing about New York. You think New York has a lot of fans because New York is a dense place. But the Buffalo Bills, I mean, New York State has essentially 2 teams, right? Well, 3 teams. The Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants, and the New York Jets are in the state. Even as the Giants and the Jets play out of Jersey, which is sort of bullshit. So you get all these Jersey fans too, which I guess is nice. But the Patriots don't really have a state they play in. They're just the New Englands, right? So they're Rhode Island, Connecticut, they're Massachusetts, they're Maine, and they get a lot of just because they can swing in a lot of people in their region. Minnesota Vikings shouldn't even be named Minnesota just because it's cold up there and everybody up in the north likes them, right? Next to the Packers, Green Bay, the Seattle Seahawks get Oregon, right? Idaho over here. The 49ers get most of California. The Raiders get downstate. The Chargers, they got the Cowboys. Really, how are the Cowboys big in Nevada? Why wouldn't that be the 49ers? Look at the Broncos. Good Lord. The Broncos look like blood splatter in the middle of the map. That's amazing. So the Broncos are bigger than the Cowboys. That's amazing. Denver. Yeah, they get all of Montana, all of Idaho. They get some of New Mexico. Huh. The Bears. All of Detroit is the Chicago Bears. Nebraska for the Colts. Look at the Titans. Well, that makes sense. The Tennessee Titans, but the Titans only get Tennessee. The Bengals. They've got a small market. The Browns have a small market. Some of these groups should be out here. Like the Midwest should get a couple of ball teams, right? But no millionaires wants to live out there. And even though they have millionaires, no millionaires want to bring a team out there, I guess. But the weather is brutal up here. The Patriots got a nice. Florida has like 3 teams: the Dolphins, the Buccaneers, and the Jaguars. Dotted. The Saints, New England has Mississippi and Georgia. I'm hoping I'm getting my states right here. I'm trying to remember. Why is Alaska Seahawks territory? That's weird to me. Well, I guess it's just a drive up. So, yeah, all right. But Hawaii is the 49ers. Huh. Tiny little patch of the Texans. This is really interesting. And the top 4 of Detroit gets the Lions. Chicago Bears. Huh. The Ravens. This tiny little spot for the Ravens. That's amazing. I think I'm gonna You know what? We're not going to get rid of this. We're going to save this. Let's pull this out and shrinky dink it because I'm gonna print that on a freaking t-shirt. Oh, here's another one. Ugh. That's the one we just looked at. That's not the one this is the one I clicked on. Right. Huh. Let's make this bigger. Look at how much the Broncos have. This is amazing to me. I hate flags that don't include the whole country, like I'm about to say Mexico, like Alaska and Hawaii. Guys, stop doing that. They're part of the country. Tiny little Texans. Wow. This is really interesting. The Vikings make sense. The Chiefs make sense. But wow, the Broncos are not. What? That is amazing to me. This seems to be wider than it was before. But yeah, all right. That's amazing to me. Do we have any other iterations of this map? That's college. Huh. All right. Yeah, I think I gotta say that Tom Brady may be the greatest quarterback in history. Not because he lasted the longest. How old is that dude? But man, he doesn't seem to be slipping. Like if you look at Green Bay, if you look at Aaron Rodgers, his throws now seem to be like he would normally put it right here, right? Now they seem a little off or a little high, right? And that's the thing about like body mechanics. So as you get older, things change slightly, and that tiny little, and you don't know how to adjust it. You can't just go, okay, I'm throwing high now, so I'm just going to throw low, because that's in your conscious mind, right? But before that, when you're young and you're fit and you're knocking it out, you can just take the ball and look, oh, I got a receiver, and you don't have to think about the mechanics of your throwing because it's dialed in. This is why I don't skateboard anymore. I had an accident because I tweaked something a little and I shouldn't have, almost killed myself. And I was like, okay, we're not long blading on these streets anymore. I see people long blading all the time. I'm like, God bless them. I may take it out to a park and longboard, but even then, it's been 2 years since I did it. You want to see my longboard? Ooh, covered in dust. All right. So these are my longboards. Let's get up here. First of all, let's let you see what's going on, and then let's close this. Let me have a sip of this coffee. So, oh man, I've got this tangled on my speakers. That's not good. Come on. So this is the last one I bought. This is my loaded longboard made of bamboo, which is freaking awesome. This is the old skate shop I used to hang out in Brooklyn, Homage Skate Shop, which is expanded to 2 locations. There's one near you, I guess, if you're in California. I like to having supported things that got big and left me behind is always nice. This is my first loaded. This one is a 1. This is also bamboo. This first one. And look at that. It's called a whirling dervish. And I love this so much. I mean, I was like, yeah, of course it's going to get scratched up in the back. But skateboards are always art, man. But this is the new one, and this is the one I almost killed myself on. But yeah, we do look, all that stuff gets you exercise and it's fun. You should do it. Yeah. Always odd, always interesting, always doing something. That's what you want to be doing. Always reading something, always being active in the world. I'm heavy because, man, I used to do that. I used to run. I used to jog. I used to have a dog. I was tired all the time, but in a good way. Because if not, my mind races, and that is a bad thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 11 o'clock. This is where we part company, right? I showed you my skateboards, and we talked politics on this Halloween. It's good stuff. So I guess the Redskins, and I hate that title, which is why I was like, I don't want to be their fan. I got to find a team. But yeah, now the team name is the Washington Football Club, which I kind of like better because I remember when I got into the Giants, they're known as the New York Giants Football Club. And I was like, oh, club. I like that. It sounds accessible. But yeah, so go and get some football in you, which happens in about a half an hour. I'm assuming the pregame start, right? And kickoff is generally about noon, unless someone is playing in another country. Last week we had a couple play in. Am I going to move this? No, I'm not going to move it. We had a couple of teams play in England, and those games started like 9 a.m. I totally didn't know it. Excuse me. Yeah, all right. So I guess this is where we say goodbye. I need to get some breakfast. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours. I got love for you. Man, I used to stream a lot on this hair apps, and I was getting a little, but now nothing. Oh well. Even though I still stream every day. I need a shave and a haircut. I need to fix this room. I got a lot to do today. I said it was supposed to be today, and I didn't do it over the course of. There's a giant bug on my window that I've never seen before, so I'm staring at it. I didn't do it every day to have the room be a mess. I was like, I'll just stop and do it on Sunday as a new thing for Monday, and I better get it started. Otherwise, tomorrow's show is just gonna be in a messy room, and I hate that. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, cars and motorcycles, planes and spaceships, cats and dogs, bushes and trees, leaves and grass. We are all here on this spiritual Sunday talking about everyday things. If you've been here, excuse me, for 20 minutes, your soul is good for 2 weeks, or even though we hope to see you next week, you don't have to. Come by for occasional refreshments of good energy. Don't get fooled by the people trying to fool you, because they always also have their hand in your pocket. Keep an eye on your spiritual nature, right? That will likely not have your heart clogged with plaque by the time you're an old guy like me, right? You got to let some stuff roll off your back. You got to keep blood rushing through your veins at a quicker than sitting pace, just to kind of wash stuff out. You got to get your system moving, because if you move your system, I used to jog, right? I'm gonna have to go back to that. It jostles your system and gets stuff out of your lungs. It'll like make you cough. It'll get bits of crap that's sitting in your colon out of your colon because you're jostling yourself, right? Not so much like bike riding, but bike riding is good too. That's for your lungs. But fighting, wrestling, jogging, running, punching, action and activity is what you should try and get a little of in your life, because you'll get to the point where you'll be too old to do these things. When you're going to start bodybuilding when you're 80. I don't know. Sex is good for you too. Have a lot more sex. Sex gets the heart rate up and pumping, and you're doing it with someone you like. Well, I'm assuming you're doing it with someone you like. You're doing it with someone you like and love is always the best way to do that. So yeah, get a session going. Have it last about 3 hours. Get completely exhausted. Have to drink a lot of water and take multivitamins. Right? Get your heart rate up. Is all I'm saying. And that is good for you. It's a spiritual thing. It's you. The exercise is you paying tithes to your body, right? You'll feel better for it in the long term, and your body will be better for it in the. It's like insurance in the long run, right? I got to get back to it, because all of a sudden it's getting hard for me to touch my toes and do common sense stuff like that. I don't move around enough. You'll throw your back out, and that can't be allowed to happen. Whew. This is actually good for the midsection if you do this. So get a spinning chair. You can do some stuff at your desk. Yeah, and find the light in your own world, right? I'm sure you can find some cool thing to do in your own dealio. Once again, I got love for you. We have been streaming for 3 hours and 25 minutes. This pod really doesn't have a name. I was calling it the Sean Show. Please like and subscribe. True S Armor on YouTube. Armor. I should write this down and stick it someplace. On Twitch. I'm going to do that Monday. Tomorrow. I should write that down before I forget, shouldn't I? Because I've been saying I was going to do it forever. Tomorrow morning I have to go get my car. That car accident. I have to take my car in tomorrow and give them $500, and then they may or may not give me a car. Wait, what? Guess I'm not working tomorrow. Yeah, 8:30. All right. Put up. Okay, I hope I remember that. Written with a felt tip pen. All right, boys and girls, that is it for us. Please come by next Sunday where we will kick the tires on yet another awesome day. Remember, tonight is your Halloween. You should, we mentioned a couple of good movies at the beginning of the stream. I'm sure you have some. We found some interesting ones in the chat. Have some fun, man. I feel bad for the kiddies, but so be extra nice to the kiddies on this day, because this is really for the kids, right? Halloween is more of an observance for the children, even as the pandemic tries to make it less than what it used to be when some of us older people were children, right? But these 5-year-olds and 4 and 3-year-olds, it's one of the things that they learn about, like, the country, right? And I'm sure some of them are like, can we go again tomorrow? And they're like, no, honey, it's only once a year. And a year is forever for children. They don't get the concept of a year. I don't even know how you give them candy or what you do, but just, first of all, you should always be good to kids. But on a day that's specifically for kids, you should be extra good to kids, right? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your coffee. We will see you in the next one. And the next one is tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. We stream every day, Monday through Saturday, 6:30 p.m. And on Sundays, we do it 7:30 a.m. for the Sunday session. Come around and get some good old-fashioned homey spirituality. You should think of this as a church experience, but just you're sitting right next to the guy you're talking to in church, and everybody's going, shh. Right, but no. But that's the kind of energy we want here, right? Us, same level, just kicking it about things that happen and remembering stuff that proves our point or illuminates what we thought, or questions of why this or that goes on, versus just sort of taking it. Yeah, Buckler was a really good player. Gary, you've got Gary up here. What is Gary for? Jim Kelly, yeah, Jim Kelly was awesome. So I guess that is it for us. I want to thank all who came through the chat and kicked it with me. You know who you is. I got some love for you, homie. And my man B.I. came through, which was awesome. This scrolling for the is not awesome. Anyway, I guess that's that. All right, so that's it for us. We want to thank everyone. Again, we've been streaming for 1 hour and 39 minutes. Oh, and 15 seconds. So this wrap up should lead us out. Look, you go around once. You should do some stuff. Your weekend is not for you to hide from work. It should be for you to explore shit about your own life, right? You should like the work, but when you get your own time, which is a weekend, you shouldn't spend it going, oh, I'm glad I'm not at work. What a week on Saturday, and then going, oh, I have to go back to work Monday on Sunday, right? That's work always in your mind. Piece your dome, piece your headset, and you need to sort of stop doing that and do stuff for you and yours and build memories. It's the weekend. So I'm going to thank all of you. Like we said, we're here every day, 6:30 p.m. And on Sundays at 7, we stream every day. We stream every day, every single day. I want to thank all of you. And remember, your time is valuable. All right? Your time is valuable. All right, everyone. Thank you. And I will see you in the next one. The next one is tomorrow at 6:30. Peace out.